Hello, everybody. Welcome back to day 2 of the HerStory Online Summit for November 2021. It gives me great pleasure today to introduce our chairperson for the day, Vicky Zarkin. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our leadership team. I'm so
Thank you so
excited
much.
that you stepped up and you saw the
Thank you.
potential of taking this to the United States for us. So today is going to be your day. I am going to just sit back, relax, and watch you spin your magic.
Okay.
So before we get started and before we introduce our speakers, I just want to share with the community some of the success we have had in the last 48 hours for the Her Story movement. Some of you know that I pitched an idea for an app for Her Story. And we'll open up today with the pitch. We won first prize, which was $10,000, which enables
Yay.
us to get the app going. So we'll start with that, Vicky, and then you will come online, introduce yourself, and get the day rolling for us. Is that okay?
Okay, I think I got it.
Awesome. So here we go.
We
I'll
got
share my
this.
screen.
How about it, Ingrid? We got
Okay.
it.
Let me know if you can hear this.
I'd like to introduce our next
Maybe we could not
speaker,
go down, but
Gertrude,
eventually.
who is joining us from New Zealand. Welcome, Gertrude.
Imagine a woman in a village in Africa designing a tribal necklace, selling it for what it's worth to a designer in New York for New York Fashion Week, and then giving an online lecture to students in a university in Paris. That is the Diversity Connector app. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gertrude Mache. I'm a social entrepreneur originally from Zimbabwe and living in New Zealand for the last 21 years. I'm the founder and global curator of the Her Story Circle movement. And this is a multimedia platform where we coach and mentor speakers. We curate their stories into videos, podcasts, magazines, and books. Women in developing countries are at the bottom of the food chain. We're poor, not because we're lazy or lack creativity, but because we don't get access to the global marketplace to trade our goods and services and connect. The Diversity Connector is an app that bridges that gap for women in third world countries with those in the first world. It will help them access corporate speaking opportunities and training opportunities as well. Our tagline is inspired, ideas ignited, and implemented. In phase 1, the Diversity Connector is an idea busting tool for thought leaders and a memory practice app for speakers. It has a self-paced speaking course to create your signature speech. You get speaking tips and information. You get appointments and tasks that you can schedule and get reminders an hour before or 15 minutes. You accumulate points by enrolling other members, reading blog articles, watching recommended videos, and meeting appointments with your appointed accountability partner. We already have 30,000 members in 15 countries, and we're based here in Wellington, New Zealand. We want to release our pilot for free to the first 1,000 users. In phase 2, the Diversity Connector is now a bridge between our speakers and our women in our community with corporate speaking opportunities and workshop facilitation in diversity, inclusion, and belonging. It will also have a payment gateway via telephone technology for those women in third world countries. Today, I'm here to ask for your help, not just for funding to market and scale this platform, to develop our MVP in phase 1, but to extend your networks to help us reach more women, get corporate sponsorship, and grants. So please step into the future with me and help us transform the world, one woman at a time, one story at a time. Thank you.
Congratulations, Greta. Well done. Sorry, Gertrude, on a fantastic pitch. And I love the idea. I think it's really heartfelt and it's a beautiful idea. I'm really curious to hear, how have you validated the idea in order to actually know that there's a problem that you're solving and that there's a need to actually solve it?
This idea was launched in July 2019. I had collapsed with congestive heart failure in a rice field in Indonesia.
I'm sorry.
And I realized at that point that all of my projects that I had initiated in Africa, Southeast Asia, the Caribbean, where I was helping get women out of poverty with very small amounts of money from my businesses, would have died with me. So I launched this as an in-person conference. I got sponsorship from the New Zealand government. I was given a grant for 150,000 in 2019, which I didn't manage to use because of COVID. I had 10 in-person events in Las Vegas, Wellington, Sydney, Norway, London, New York, Brisbane, Melbourne, Hamilton, and Auckland before everything stopped in March 2020. I then put the platform online, and we are scaling faster now than I could have ever imagined. So I've proved it, I've tested it. There is a need. Women are wanting to connect. They're wanting opportunities to make money from home. And we have a growing community that already exists.
Fantastic. Well done.
So, yeah, I really want to acknowledge you, Gertrude, and this is an amazing pitch. And also, by myself as a migrant from another country, I just know how challenging it can be to talk about the diversity inclusion. So a few things I want to ask was, what is your current business model? Is a subscription model, like is it just a social enterprise? And how, I get the picture, but then other than the what you ask for Everyone Connect, like the money side, and how much money you ask for, what's that for?
Okay, so I am asking for $1 million. We are a pay-to-play platform. Our members come online to speak for $97 at a minimum. They get a 15-minute opportunity, like a TED Talk. At $447 and $997, we charge them to get published in an anthology with 10 other women, and they get published in the HerStory magazine. They get exposure through our podcast. So people have already been paying these prices. We also didn't want money to be a barrier to entry for women to participate, especially women from Zimbabwe, from Africa, where I come from. $97 is a lot of money. So we have created a scholarship program where there are some women within our network who will sponsor another woman in a third world country who can't afford, and that has been working like a charm. We go ahead and design that woman's book cover. We help her promote and market her story using our networks, and people pre-order her book. So if she sells 15 books, she qualifies for the 447 package. If she sells 30 copies, she qualifies for the 997 package, and that has been working as well. Now, the amount of money I'm asking for is to help me build the technology behind this platform. In Africa, people don't get access to physical cash. In Zimbabwe in particular, we do not have a currency. We are trading in US dollars. So unless you have children who live overseas, who send you money, people are bartering for basic food commodities. So what I used to do when my parents were alive is I would send them money through their phone. We have what's called Eco Cash. So in every village in Africa, people have got cell phones, and that's how we transact. You can take your cell phone to a supermarket, you can pay your children's school fees, and that's how I've been supporting the women in the cooperatives that I have set up in Africa. I transfer the money through a platform called World Remit. So I'm wanting to interface that in phase 2. I'm also trying to turn this into a reality TV show. So imagine a show like The Voice, American Idol, but for speakers. The competition is on 2 parts. It's on you standing up as a thought leader with an idea that can be implemented by somebody else. On the other side, every one of our members brings a social impact project that she supports in her community. We're looking for those unsung heroes, people who do things for other people without expecting any acknowledgement, grassroots projects where if we donate $5,000, $10,000, we know that 100 women got out of poverty from that gift.
Great. So very impressive, Gertrude, what you're wanting to achieve there. And one of the things I've always liked is microfinance in third world countries, where, as you know, microfinance always goes to the women because give it to the men and then they'll waste the money, and women apply the money and they use it to not only look after their family but also to create jobs for other women as well. And that's how you create great social change in third world countries. And I can see similarities in what you're talking about, what you're wanting to do there, because I mean, if you can change 1 or 2 women's life in a village, then automatically you're changing the village as well. So I think, you know, it's a great initiative that you've got going there, and I can start to see how you could do it where, like you said, having sponsorships and having sponsors fund these young women to be able to build their dream over there as well. So I'd need to understand a little bit more about how you want to go about doing it. And suppose going back to the same thing I said before with Amy, that I mean, you want $1 million, but it's again about having a look at when you need that and where to source it from, and what are the ways of being able to fund this as well. And happy to have an offline conversation with you around some of the options on doing that. But yeah, I'm a really great believer in things like what you're doing, because I think the more that we can empower young women in particular in third world countries, that's where you're going to create the social change. It's not with the men, it's with the women.
No.
Yeah,
Thank you, Peter. And we've already found a solution to raise the $1 million amongst the community.
Right.
In scaling this project, we are now licensing the HerStory Circle platform for other women to invest at $1,000. So if we got enough money to market and promote that and sell 1,000 licenses at $1,000 each, we can raise the money just within our community. It's the marketing budget that's really difficult at the moment.
Yeah, to get to there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you scoped out what you think that is?
We have scoped that out at 50,000 US.
Yep.
And the platform that we are trying to look at, we can get a platform that we can white label from one of my mentors to get us started and get the community on the platform and start testing the app. She said it will cost us anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. And that's why I phased it in 3 phases. So we're not trying to do everything at once.
Yep. Cool. All right, great. Well, as I said, the invite's there if you want to have an offline conversation.
Thank you.
That's the type of things we as a firm that we want to support. I mean, it's not for us, that's not about making money, that's about making a difference. And you know, as I said, I'm a great believer in empowering women in third world country, and not only that, giving them access to first world business knowledge as well, which would be an interesting thing. You maybe even have considered that as well. But you know, I think you know, that's one of the things we need to do as a first world, is to share how we do things to get to there.
And vice versa. There's a lot of knowledge that comes out of developing countries that is not known.
Yeah, absolutely. And
thank you.
That's the beauty of technology, in particular, you know, cell phones, is they've changed everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Gertrude. It's wonderful hearing your story and hearing about this incredible work that you are doing and your vision for even more of that in the future. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was so amazing. You're muted. Gertrude, you're muted.
I'm
Muted.
muted, Gertrude. There you go.
Okay. I'm going to add everybody so we see our panel before we begin. So Vicky, if you just call on everyone to introduce themselves, say their location, their name. We'll go around the room. Is that everyone? I added everyone. Is anybody missing?
1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 up for the first 5. It's just
Okay.
the last picture's not up.
Yeah, she's in Nigeria. She might be struggling. Could be nighttime. She doesn't have a picture on her profile.
Okay.
So take over, Vicky. We're going to start with you. Welcoming everybody. Ask everybody to say who they are. And then you're going to be it for 5 minutes. Just tell everybody your vision, your mission, why you
Mine.
came on board for HerStory.
Oh, me. Okay, I can do that. So I'll say hello, and I'm so happy to be here. And thank you, everybody, all your wonderful speakers in advance for contributing to HerStory, because I'm a great believer in HerStory and its accomplishments today and for the future. And it's pretty exciting as a woman to be a part of HerStory. So I was very lucky that I got to know Gertrude and be able to share with you. Can everyone see me?
We can see you, Vicky.
Oh,
You're
you
the
can?
only one on screen. Yeah.
Okay, because it got lost. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Ingrid.
No, before you do that, introduce yourself. Let everybody know where you are. You are one of our
you want
new
to hear more about it? I thought you were
chairpersons.
coming
You are
in.
one of the first women to invest in this. I want people to know who you are first before we begin.
Okay, sorry about that. Excuse me. I'm actually in DC getting treatment now, so bear with me with the cough. But I have a metastatic stage 4 cancer, and in fact, my cancer is so severe and unique. Actually, I'm the only one alive today with my aggressive form of cancer. So I fought hard to be the one and only. In fact, I have published a book that's just come out in October called I Am the One. And that's my story. When I was diagnosed, I was told right up front by the oncologist that I had never seen before. After all the testing, he said that I need to go home and get my affairs in order. And I just wasn't having any of that. I had 2 small kids at home, and there's no way that I'm going to get my affairs in order and just give up and throw in the towel. So the minute I heard those words, I was enraged, and I leapt across the room and lunged at the doctor and grabbed him by the shirt collar. And I pulled him in really close because he wasn't seeing me. Now, that's not his fault. He probably has to give really bad news a lot. And in order to do that, he removes himself because I'm sure it's very difficult. So that's not all his fault, but it's certainly not mine either. And I was not going to allow him to ignore me. So I lit into him and said that, he said how he consulted with other doctors, but I said, you did never consulted with me. What about me? What about what I want? What about what I need? And I went on to say that I'll cut anything off. I will go through any pain, needles, anything they can stick in me. It doesn't matter to me. I am going to be the one. I'm a survivor. I'm a mom. I've got 2 small kids at home. And then I realized I had my hands around somebody else's neck. And so I pulled away. And I went on to say that, sorry about that. I went on to say that I just want to live. And he looked at me then for the first time and he said, okay, we'll try chemo, but I can't promise anything. So I knew that I had bought myself some time. And what I did with that time was research journal, so that I could find a way to have my next treatment and so forth be more targeted and figure a way out of this, which it's been 11 years now. So I've been living with metastatic cancer, still continuing to get regular chemo treatments every month. So that does take its toll. But I'm here and I'm alive, and I am here to share my voice with my experiences. And I have my own movement that I've started called Lunge for Healthcare, which I'm taking global, because I plan on helping every woman that I can, anyone that crosses my path. I'm a speaker. I love to speak to large groups, tell them about the movement, about helping women in healthcare. The bottom line is, I believe in us. And if I can do what I did, just think of all the miracles that we can find out there if we band together. So that's kind of what I'm all about. You know, I'm here today to meet all of you amazing women, as I met Gertrude and other women when I spoke at HerStory. And that's very exciting for me. And you all have such a fine opportunity. So take advantage of it. Use your time today. Stay with HerStory. Get a book. I have a book coming out. This is a phenomenal organization. So I thank everybody for hearing me, and I look forward to moving on in hearing everyone else's story.
Thank you, Vicky. And so if for all of you to be aware, Vicky's actually in a hospital right now getting treatment.
Sorry.
And she still showed up to chair the day. So I honor you for that, Vicky. I love your spirit. Great that Mama's there with you, supporting you.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
We are with you in spirit as well.
Thank
you. So you can introduce our first speaker. I've got her video lined up.
Okay. Well, Ingrid, you're up next. Ingrid Lotze. And Ingrid is from South Africa, and which is amazing, just that we all can get together and talk today from each other so far away. So Ingrid, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you came to be a part of the HerStory family?
I used to lie a lot. I used to say things like, I walked into a door, that's why I've got this black eye. No, I haven't been crying at all. I just had these terrible allergies. Thanks for your concern. No, I'm really fine. I just haven't been sleeping well lately. Where's my +1? Oh no, he had to work late and he can't make it. My name is Ingrid Lotze and I'm from South Africa. And I believe that the world won't change until we stop the lie, hide, repress, and deny. And actually, this applies in general to humanity. But for this talk, I'm going to be talking about gender-based violence. I was subjected to gender-based violence for nearly 10 years, and I chose to stay. And in staying, I got good at lying. In fact, I became excellent at lie, hide, repress, deny. Lie, hide, repress, deny, lie, hide, repress, deny became my world. And while I was doing this lie, hide, repress, deny daily dance, people around me were dancing this denial dance with me. They knew I was lying, but it was much easier for them to pretend that they didn't see things. And it was far easier to give me responses like, you know what, don't think about things too much. Everything will be okay. You just need to get the right frame of mind. No. Well, I didn't hear anything. I had my headphones on. I had them on every night. No, I didn't notice anything. I didn't see anything. And my personal favorite Everything happens for a reason. I wanted to scream at the people who had said this to me. Do you even see me? Do you know that this bruise on my face is one of 6 that you can't see? And all I want you to do is to be honest and open and say to me something like, I can see that you're going through something. Is there something I can do? Do you need any support? And in that moment, I probably would say, no, thank you, because of course, lie, hide, repress, deny. But what you say, how you connect, opens the door for me to be able to come to you a little bit later and say, actually, I'm not okay. I'm in an abusive relationship. I have been for years. I'm stuck. I'm afraid, and I don't know what to do next. Gender-based violence is a persistent worldwide problem happening in every culture, in all societies. And the underlying challenge in many of these places is that gender-based violence is considered a private affair. And because of that, we either don't know about it or everybody turns a blind eye and denies it. The consequence of these denials is covered in research that was done by Gross and Levenstein. And it tells us that there is a breakdown not only of mental health, but also physical health, as well as a general well-being of widening circles that affect all of us. So my story, it's an all too common story about a woman and her children being physically, mentally, financially abused. I'm one of many women that was not helped by either friends or family. And even my neighbors, years later, told me that they heard the domestic violence, but they didn't help. Maybe they didn't know how or what to do, but they disconnected from me with what was right in front of them. My own mother, who took me to the hospital, who looked after my children when I was supposedly recovering from an accident, never spoke about it. Things would have been different. There would have been a different outcome if people around me had chosen to connect, if they had chosen to speak up, if they had asked me questions and not turned a blind eye. I lived through 10 years of mental and physical abuse. I stayed because I thought he would change. I stayed because I believed in marriage vows, for better, for worse. I kept on trying a little bit harder, and believe it or not, I thought it was my fault and I made excuses for him. No, he didn't mean to hurt us. No shame. He's going through a hard time right now. I had never been more alone in my life than in those years. And people didn't engage with me. In fact, they avoided me and they denied it that anything was wrong. So did you know that denial is one of the most common psychological defense mechanisms? Abusers or harassers, as well as those who are abused and harassed, we hide what's going on. Witnesses repress what they've seen. And as humans, we're really good at these avoidance tactics. At the time, in an office of 50 people where I was working, there was only one person who dared to challenge the reason for my black eye, which, by the way, was a kitchen door. The rest of the 49 people in that office probably thought, not my business, not my job. So have you heard of the cycle of violence? Research done by the United Justice Department using arrest data revealed the cycle of violence, which tells us that looking at abuse from a heteronormative lens, childhood history of physical abuse predisposes the survivor to violence in later years. So those who've experienced violence in their childhood have a greater chance of being the inflictor of violence and choosing a violent partner. And so this becomes multi-generational. An example of the cycle of violence is my son. And when I told him that I was doing this talk, he was the one that suggested I tell his story. And actually, I'd forgotten about his story because lie, hide, repress, deny. And it's actually really hard for me to keep facing what my children suffered through in those times. My son not only witnessed the physical and verbal violence that I had endured, but he was subjected to violence himself. And this delivered a very strong message to him of do what I do from his biological father. When he was only about 4 or 5, the way that he expressed his anger would be to a sister who would irritate him. She's about 2 years younger than him. It would manifest in him grabbing her around her neck and strangling her. And I'm not talking about playing, and I'm not talking about once. Expressing his anger through violence was him doing what he had witnessed from his biological father. It took him many years of work to understand the extent of the programming, where his anger was coming from, and actually how to deal with it in a constructive way. So let me read to you his words about this. As a man of 28 now, I still get angry and sometimes it borders on rage. But I've learned to recognize the signs and I've learned to self-regulate. The biggest turning point and reminder for me was realizing that my rage and violence just makes things worse. I've got tools and processes that I've learned over the years of healing, and I've managed to break the cycle. My children will not go through what I went through. The cycle of violence stops with me. The cycle of violence stops with you. And actually, it's all of our duties to contribute. We start by dumping this attitude of not my business, not my problem. It's everybody's business. It's everybody's job. Gender-based violence is complicated. Where do we start? How do we start? How can little old me make a difference in this world? And so I've put together a 3-step solution that everybody can start today. Just take one small step. Change the narrative and cultivate connection. So step 1, if everyone took just one step in the right direction, the impact would be unimaginable. So witnesses, step up and speak up. Perpetrators, step down and seek help. Victims, step sideways closer to somebody that can support and help you. And taking the step away from this dance of denial, this lie, hide, repress, deny, makes a difference. And for those few who've actually not been touched by violence in all its forms, the invitation is for you to help address this issue. Learn the signs of abuse and how to help. Volunteer at an organization. If you don't have time to volunteer, give money to a relevant organization. Listen, learn, read on this topic. Step 2, change the narrative. But how do we start changing the narrative and the prejudices around gender roles and expectations? In many cultures, men's violence against women is considered acceptable in certain situations. And this society's acceptability makes it particularly challenging to address GBV effectively. So the invitation is to start questioning the values and behaviors based on patriarchy and the systemic violence that is fueling gender-based violence. To change the narrative, you are invited to open your heart and your mind and start listening to the survivors and their lived stories. Start with curiosity. Start noticing the violence and be curious about the narratives around gender norms. And ask questions about stereotypes and bias and whether they are serving you. And then have conversations about it, which brings me to step number 3, cultivate connection. If I had had some form of connection, somebody to believe me, to listen to me without judgment, I might have left the situation a lot sooner and saved me and my children a lot of pain, heartache, and therapy. I can honestly say that it was human connection that got me onto the path to recovery. And I needed people to listen to me, to hear me. I did not need people to tell me what to do. I needed to connect with women who had gone through similar things. And I also found tremendous solace and healing, actually, in helping others who had gone through similar things. In fact, many of the people that I come across in doing gender-based violence work and women's empowerment work do this because they've gone through similar things. So this path of cultivating connection is the one that will give all of humankind the most reward. When we have a connection with a human being, and instead of seeing them as less than or a sex object or a personal server, it's really much harder to be cruel and violent towards them. When we actively cultivating connection, it's actually easier to speak up. So I began my talk, my story of lying. I lied because I was too afraid to speak up. I was crushed by the shame of what was happening to me and my children, and I was racked with guilt at my abuse. Maybe could it be my fault? I was always second guessing myself and my desire for a better life. I spoke about how not only did I become really good at lie, hide, repress, and deny, but I found people around me getting good at it too. My invitation to you is to remember that gender-based violence cannot thrive in a space where humans are continuously communicating and cultivating connection with one another. Gender-based violence can't exist when each of us are driven to be our sisters and our brothers' keepers. Gender-based violence can't exist when each of us decides this is our problem too, and that I want to break the cycle of violence. So tell me, has lie, hide, repress, and deny helped you? Is it serving society? What would your life be without lie, hide, repress, and deny? And what are you doing to help stop gender-based violence? Thank you.
Wow. You're muted, Vicky.
Apologies. Ingrid, that was amazing. Wow. What a story. What a strong woman.
Thank you.
You spoke amazingly. You were very brave. So how is everything today? How long have you been apart from the violence?
I've been apart from the violence for quite a long time now. And I think the most amazing thing is in my talk, I talk about things happen for a reason. In a strange way, actually, from my experiences, I've moved very strongly into women's empowerment work. And so me, my son, my daughter, just as much as well as my second husband, all do work towards women's empowerment and gender building, gender equality. So there's a happy ending to
good for
a
you.
shocking story.
You deserve it. Good for you. So we ready to hear our next speaker?
We'll go around the room because
Yeah.
what we want to try and do is release the ladies in South Africa so they can go. It's quite late there.
Okay, so I'm not using the regular speaker that was going to be next. So who should we have go next?
Right now, let's just get everybody to give Ingrid some feedback, ask her questions
Okay.
before we introduce
Because
the next
Ingrid
speaker.
can't stay. I understand. Sorry
Yeah.
about that, Ingrid. So let's open up the floor to our other speakers, and you can comment on what we just heard about our new friend.
Well, I'll start. I
Okay.
love your presentation, Ingrid. I love your passion around this subject. It's something that people don't talk about. We keep quiet, we suppress it, we hide it. And the more women who step forward to say, this happened to me, we're giving permission for others to do the same. So I commend you for your courage in doing that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And pitching, anyone, just raise your hand. Vicky will call on you to contribute to the discussion.
Yes, I will. Is there anyone else that wants to talk?
Ruth?
Yes, yes.
Oh, lovely
Ruth.
story, lovely story, Ingrid. You know, it does take a lot for a woman to open up and to tell a story of what happened to her. I know I've once been there before, and after that incident, I'd actually joined a movement called Prevention in Action for Violence Against Women here in South Africa, the KZN network. And we actually went around and do jobs which were actually provided and you sponsored us to go to various religious and schools to go against women. It's on all levels. Different abuse. Thank you so much, Ingrid, for sharing your story with us. I really did love that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Amazing. Anybody else have questions?
Yeah.
Oh, how do I? Is it Renya? You're on mute.
It's why, Renee.
Wow, Renee. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Ingrid. So your story resonates with me so well. So that whole lie, deny, and everything else you said is such a part of it. I too am a domestic abuse survivor. My story is I survived 15 years of it. And I also survived being shot and gunned down. So just to hear someone who has been through, who can really understand and relate to what I'm going through, as opposed to me just telling my story, resonates with me, letting me know just there are other people out there who's fighting the good fight of faith like I am, and that I'm not alone in this, and that that you have some really, really powerful points that I probably will even start kind of introducing into my own speeches when I speak. When I go out and speak, because I do speak professionally and I'm an author as well. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you. I think we should collaborate. Maybe we should touch base offline.
Most definitely.
That's what's so amazing about this group.
I love that. And this is the thing, right? We have common threads. We have women with content that's very similar. This is where the collaborations should be.
And who
we
can
could
better
end up
understand?
having a conference just on domestic violence. So thank you for suggesting that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to be said on that topic.
And the wind got lost.
Yeah. Ingrid, I just want
Came
to
out.
say what a beautiful, beautiful presentation. And you know, when you present it, you're presenting it in strength and in victory, having overcome that, even your children. And congratulations on that. The kids are working through it and they've come out of that abusive cycle. And such a beautiful presentation. I can't get over it. You know, it was so clean and so to the point. And really the talk is powerful. And I know that amongst us Black people, we know that GBV exists, but you know, when it amongst the white society, we never think, you know, because I think we just assume that
What you doing, baby?
we just assume that you
Yeah, cool.
there is none, or it's not talked
You can
much
get it?
as much as it talked about amongst the Black community. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Ruth.
Wonderful. Selena.
Selena, what would you like to say to
So
Ingrid?
much, Ingrid. It was so beautiful. I mean, I came when you were in the middle of it, but you know, I really, really resonated with it so much. I had to leave mine because my kids were being affected. They started waking up in the night. My son would say, "Dad, stop hitting mom." And my daughter was at a boarding school, and she would come back, weekly boarding school. She would come back and say,
Thank you, baby.
"Mommy, has he beaten you this week again?" So that really I thought, okay, I grew up without a mother because she passed on when I was young, but I can't die, leaving my kids because of the marriage. I mean, I didn't know I was already, like in depression. That's what the thing was. Because in Zoom, we don't really, like see it as early as that. That is depression, but I was getting depressed. So kudos to you, sis. Well done. I really honor you. Thank you so much. I'm done
And I
talking.
honor you back, Selena, for stepping out and for being in your own strength as well. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else want to contribute?
Let's move on to our next speaker.
Okay. Now, according to what I see, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Tai now? Are you muted? Can you unmute yourself? How are you there?
Oh, my
there you
mic.
are. How do I pronounce your name? I can't hear you. You're mic'd again. You have to
You're muting and unmuting.
Yeah, you need to there. Stay like that. You're unmuted.
Oh, okay. It's on now.
Okay. How do
Okay,
I pronounce your name?
it's tiny, but a lot of people.
Oh, you're breaking up, Tiny. Neil. Is it Mohan?
You can call me Tiny. Yes, Tiny Mohan.
And Mohan is how you pronounce your last name?
Do you think
And where are you from, Tiny?
She's in South Africa. Her connection is bad.
Yeah, your connection's really bad.
In South Africa.
We'll play her video. It will be clearer.
Okay.
And this is the reason why we are asking for videos.
So you have that option.
Yeah. Okay,
All
here
right,
we go.
Tynell, why don't we play Tynell's video, then we can talk to her afterwards.
Okay.
Since she's so far away.
Oh, gosh. It's saying it doesn't support. Oh, wow. Okay, let me try something else. StreamYard doesn't support the video format.
What format did you use, Tynell?
It's an MOV file. Hold on. I've got another way of showing it.
Yeah, she's a techie genius. Which is great for a woman because you don't see a lot of that.
Yeah, I didn't test it. I didn't even realize that there are some formats we can't use. So we'll do it from Google Drive. Can you see her?
I see her. Excellent job, Gertrude.
Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanya Mohan and I'm from Durban, South Africa, from a small community called Wentworth. Firstly, I would like to thank Miss Ruth and Miss Gertrude at the HerStory Circle for this opportunity to share my story. Also for welcoming me to the HerStory tribe. I love what this tribe stands for and for what it does to empower women across the globe. Being a woman, we really do need a support structure and system in place, as we often have to juggle many things. And when we tend to carry many things and we tend to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, we become mightier when someone believes in us. I'm the only daughter and granddaughter in my family. I have 3 brothers. My dad passed away when I was only 8 years old. I didn't have a good relationship with my mother, and I still don't, up to now. I remember as a child, I didn't have a normal family life like some of my friends have with their parents and siblings. My grandparents grew me up. They were the best I ever had, and they tried their best to take care of me and to show me love. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mother was a gambler. My 2 older brothers were much older, so they did play with me, but only up to a certain extent, as they had their own friends and girlfriends. Since my dad passed away, things hasn't been great at home as he was the breadwinner. So things became very difficult for us financially. My uncle stayed with us as well. So my granny started a tuck shop, and it was called a Morrison's tuck shop, where she would sell day-to-day items to make a living to feed us. I used to make things like popcorn and ice lollies, as well as baked goods to sell at home and at school to raise funds. I learned a lot from my grandmother about entrepreneurship, owning and running a business, customer services, and much more at the tender age of 9 years old. I remember running home after school. I used to be so excited to assist her in her tuck shop at home. My grandpa used to buy the stock and I would accompany him sometimes. He was the very artistic one from what I can remember. His love for music, poetry, and reading books grew on me. So even though I used to feel so empty, lonely, and deprived as a child, this mentorship from both my grandmother and grandfather really shaped me as a young lady and gave me the skill set that I now have. I will forever be grateful and thankful for all the amazing things they have both done for me and for my brothers. I then went on to being selected at school at the age of 9 years old to write my very first fairy tale book. It got published by local sponsorships. I also entered lots of poetry competitions, and one of my poems won and got published in a book titled Buttons and Bows. I then got very excited about my future, what my future will be like. I have a passion for music as well, singing and composing. But even having achieved and having all these talents, I had very low self-esteem. I felt lonely and abandoned, having many voids within myself. I was often bullied at school and was teased for being overweight. I found comfort in sweet things and unhealthy foods. The area I grew up in is notorious for gangsterism and substance abuse. We didn't have much opportunities or any sporting activities to be involved in as youth. Certain areas were a no-go district due to fighting and shooting between drug lords. Most people in my area have one-track mind and they dream very small. Most guys only work once or twice a year on shutdowns at the refineries, and most girls would not worry about educating them themselves, but rather become gangster, drug lords, and taxi drivers' girlfriends. Our members of the community have inherited this one-track mind from their forefathers and mothers. And, it was quite sad to know that this is what had happened, that they had inherited this way of thinking and living. So they would not worry about what standard you completed school in, as long as you find a good company to work for and work there for the rest of your life. Partying every weekend and indulging in alcohol and narcotics was a norm. Crime is very high. And most people never got to own their own property, as they were so conditioned to renting out outbuildings for the rest of their lives. When I was a teenager, right into adolescence, this was when my life was very difficult, as I lacked the support, love, and guidance from my mom, family, and I didn't have great friends. I fell into the ways of the world, and I gave up on my desires, dreams, and passions that I once had as a child. My grandfather then passed away, and just after that, my mom remarried and she moved out with her new husband and my baby brother to their new home. My older brothers moved to different cities, leaving just my grandmother and my uncle and myself living together. My uncle was very good to me. He was the father figure that I didn't have in my life. I then matriculated in 2004 and I didn't have funds to go to college. So I went looking for work. I landed my first job at just 18 years old at a car manufacturing company near my area called Toyota SA Motors. After 2 years, I resigned due to working very bad working conditions where it was very hazardous because of the welders. Excuse me. I started singing with the band. I met my first husband. We got married and had a son. I was then offered to record songs at a local studio. My then husband helped me with the funds to pay, and I wrote a song titled Dance the Night Away. Actually, I had 5 original songs, but one of them was a hit. And it was featured on our local radio station called East Coast Radio, Volume 2. And it was very, very good. I was then offered a record label contract, but I had to turn it down because of being a new mom. So I had to choose being a mother over going to do my music career. And then it was the very saddest part of my life when my grandmother passed away. And after she passed away, my husband became very abusive to me. So I had to get separated from him. He then moved out with my son, and it left me broken, and homeless. I then had to sell whatever furniture that I had to make money. And I had to go and live with my friend. I actually put up with her in a lounge. I remember sleeping on a couch. I gave away most of the extra clothes I had, just keeping one bag of clothes and my documents with me. She only had a 1-bedroom apartment. I remember waking up one cold, rainy morning with tears filled in my eyes, saying to myself, this is not my life. I am destined for more. This broken state of mine is not going to last forever. I didn't even have a 10 rand in my pockets. I remember saying, I will make something of my life. And when I'm stronger, I will go back to pick up and hold the hands of other ladies who were broken and broke just like me. I remember one day going to a very rich area with my friend. We were walking on the beach promenade. And I remember looking up at this most beautiful building. And this area is Umhlanga. It's a very exclusive area in Durban. I looked at this building from the promenade and I said, wow, this building is beautiful and I'll live here one day. My friend looked at me and laughed and thought that I was crazy. She was like, you're never going to live there one day. You must be really crazy. Few months later, I met my soulmate, my now husband, father of my second son, and business partner. God has been really, really good to me. I had to learn how to let go and let God. I also had to learn to trust the process that I was in. I moved in with him. And I also brought my oldest son to stay with us. We had another baby boy and we got married. I was living in that very same beautiful building that I told my friend I would stay in Umhlanga. It was all a dream come true. but life still was no fairy tale to me, as I was still healing and trying to fill all these voids that I had. I was a full-time housewife, and my husband had got into trouble sometime before he met me with a business partner of his. So he had to now serve jail time. We lost everything. I had nowhere to go. I had to now move in with my two sons to my mom and step at dad's place. It was a nightmare. My husband and I fought almost every day. She complained about my kids non-stop. It was then that I was a single mother, and I then found out how difficult it was raising two sons on your own. I had to do something to make a living, to feed my sons and send them to school. So I started selling cosmetics. I got better with sales as my confidence grew. My sales manager was very impressed with me. She was amazed at how I had to walk from door to door and take taxi to taxi to get to my meetings and collect my products. She believed in me, and she really saw something in me that I didn't. Still suffering from severe depression and also fighting addiction, it wasn't easy. Having my nasty mum and stepdad around just made it even harder. But I tried to stay strong for my son's sake. And while during the day, I would send him to school, I would go for my meetings, get my sales done. I started even doing property as well. I really, in the evenings, I read every motivational book that you could think of. I went online to do researches just to strengthen my mind and empower myself positively. And I just felt this sudden feeling that, you know what, I love doing this. So I started blogging on my uh, Instagram profile, my Facebook profile. I started writing motivational stories of what I was being through and just being inspiring. And a lot of people responded that, we really enjoy reading your posts and blogs every day. It's just so motivational. And at that same time, I was the one needing that motivation, but I don't know where these words and this motivation would just come from me. And I would just feel like sharing it on my social media. It was very exhausting, battling all these demons and at the same time trying to make a living for my sons so that we could move out from my mom's place. I remember I had a registered company which my husband registered for me, but then I didn't have anything to trade on it with. So I remember some services that I used to help him with his company, and I started doing those services in my area of registering business and a few other things like tax returns and stuff. I started advertising for these services, and it really, really took off well, as there was no one else in this area doing this company registrations and advising and helping people that want to run and own their own businesses. I helped many women register their business and their companies, and at a very reasonable fee. I then joined a group of mature women in the area and became a part of the Durban South Women in Business Association. I also did workshops with our Women of Wentworth at the organization in the area. So there's my promise now being fulfilled of me helping other women when I get stronger. I was so glad. This is life, to help others and be there for others. And at the same time, getting the strength for being there for myself and having the strength to take care of my sons. My husband was released last year after 2 years of serving a sentence in the local prison. We have united and are still healing as a family and are growing our businesses together. I'm so grateful and thankful every day for the gift of family. Since I never grew up in a normal family, I'm so grateful that I have one, and the things we do together, even though the pandemic and lockdown, we just, trusting God for miracles and breakthroughs, but we get through every day. I enjoy that cup of coffee in the morning and getting our sons together ready for school and just going through life together. And I'm so grateful for that. And we're working towards other greater things to achieve. I would also like to say that I'm so excited and looking forward once again. You know, if anybody could say that they've been through many more walks of life, I would say that that was me. I've been through good and bad. I've been in the system of the world. I had to heal. I had to have that spiritual awakening. I had to know, I have to find out what my why was, and that was my two boys. So I started doing this company and empowering while I'm going along, learning and teaching others. I really grew as a person. And I really, really would love to write a book or two and travel the world and inspire other women globally as I've been inspired, and tell them to never, ever give up on their dreams as I have done. I would like to say, once again, thank you so much to the Her Story Circle tribe. Thank you for having me. And I wish every woman all the best. And this is all we need, is a tribe of community of strong women from different walks of lives and backgrounds, sharing their stories to inspire and help people out there. I'd like to say thank you so much and God bless.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
And this is why we are asking our speakers to pre-record their videos. In case the connections are bad, at least the video is clear. So I'm hoping people who are watching and listening, this is the reason why we ask for videos. And sometimes our speakers don't make it. Things happen, but at least if we have the video, we can still share the story. So thank you so much for that. Let's do your thing, Vicky.
Okay. Well, I'd like to, excuse me. I would like to just say something first, if I may. Um, you are so inspirational. You are such an amazing woman. I'm wondering, your husband that was in jail, that you're back with the family today. Is he also the one that was abusive for a while? Can you hear me?
No, no, this is my second husband. That was my first that now I'm divorced from.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
No, it's not.
Okay, okay. So, so how are things going now that you've been apart for 2 years?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's not the same husband. This is my second husband, and he's been very good to me.
Oh, good. But he was away for 2 years and just came back.
Yeah, well, obviously we were apart, not by choice. It was obviously by circumstances, and and yes, yes. So that's why I said, that we had to obviously spend time together as a family and heal together as a family, and having him back and being with the pandemic and the lockdown, with business and stuff hasn't been the same, but at least we have the time of spending good quality family time at home together, and it's been good. It's been good. We're just trusting God for greater things ahead, for things to open up and for everything. But between the two of us, we've obviously doing very good, and our sons are happy to have both their parents together at home with them.
Oh, I'm so pleased. Oh, good. Oh, that's so great. Does anybody else have questions or comments that they would like to ask? Because there's got to be a million. She's so amazing.
I'll jump in there.
Gertrude has a question. Yes.
I love your power of visualization. The building, the house that you saw. Describe to me what it felt like when you looked at it. A lot of people don't really understand or know how to visualize. There's something you must have felt. You must have seen yourself in that building, cooking a meal. Describe to me what that was like.
Okay. When I was walking on the promenade with my friend and I looked and saw this big blue glass building. When I was small, somehow I used to always draw my house, and it used to always be a glass house. And my grandfather used to say to me, "Yeah, where we stay, you definitely can't have a glass house because people will throw stones at it and it will break." And when I looked at this building for the very first time, I was like, "This is the glass house that I've been drawing since I was small, that I'm gonna live in one day." And when I looked at it, I just saw myself standing on that very same balcony and looking at that sea views and looking at the Beverly Hills Hotel and the Oyster Box Hotel that's all next to it, be the Pearls of Umhlanga. And I just imagined myself living there, and my friend thought I was crazy. And a couple of months later, look, I ended up staying there. I'd met my second husband and we lived there. And it was amazing, that it was a dream come true.
I love that. And I think what you did really well is you could see yourself in that building, standing on the balcony. We create everything through our minds, and you created that future. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Any other questions,
Any other
comments, ladies? Yes?
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, yes, Ingrid.
So, Neil, you are the epitome of resilience in terms of your story. So, you really do tap into your strengths and your support system. So, I really want to honor you. And I'm curious to know, you had so many changes in your life in terms of what you were going to do next. How did you decide what was going to be
Thank you.
next?
There's a slight delay.
Well, it wasn't like
So
what I had to
maybe
decide. Everything
Daniel
that
can
I've
go
been
off
through was
video.
obviously just it was a process. So it was a process that I had to go through. And yeah, so it was as I was going to different parts of my life. And each part of my life, really, I've been through different experiences, and I've obviously been through different things, and that's what made up a different part of my life, and each part has its own different story, I would say.
And Selena, did you want to add something?
Can you still hear me?
We can hear
Yes,
you. We
we
just
can hear
can't see you.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Oh,
wanted to
there you
say,
are.
wow, you're a powerhouse, girl.
Can you still hear me?
Well done, well
Okay.
done.
Okay, great.
You really, really are so strong. I mean, I don't know your
Thank
age,
you.
but really, really,
Thanks.
being on your own and having your mother with challenges, and it's like your heart is bleeding. Then you think, okay, I found a man to help me. That man, is not good enough. He starts hitting you. Oh boy, and you still
Yes.
stayed strong. You still didn't lose your focus. Well done, girl. Thank you.
Nicely done. Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody else would like to make a comment?
Yeah,
Thank you.
just to say, well done. Is she gone?
I think she
Um,
dropped out. Yeah, but you can say it. She'll watch the replay, Ruth.
All right. Well done on the strength of moving out of the abusive first marriage, and what you are doing right now with your family and working at the marriage. It's very exciting to see the young ones being able to walk out of abusive situations. It's not easy, when you're in that cycle to just walk out. And like Ingrid said, you repress, you hide, and you don't tell people about it. So well done for walking out of that, and congratulations and good luck.
very nice. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so
So,
much. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
so
you.
I'm glad we hear
Vicky,
you now.
Thank
Vicky,
Now,
you,
let's
everyone. Thank you.
yes, Gertrude.
Let's go on to Oluwakemi. She's in Nigeria, also in Africa. We will play her video and then do a Q&A with her so that we can release all of our beautiful African sisters and they can go to sleep. So that will be the next video we'll play, but please hang around, ladies, so we can have a Q&A session with her as well. I will queue up her video.
Thank you, Gertrude.
Wonderful to see you here, my sister.
Yeah, thank you. It's
Okay.
great.
Hi everyone. My name is Oluwakemi Oluwasegun. I am from Nigeria. I live in Oilaoran, Osun State. Firstly, I want to appreciate the opportunity given me to share my story at this 2021 Summit of Our Story. I am a fashion designer turned farmer because of the effect of COVID-19 on my business. I want to share my story with you all. About 7 months ago, I lost my 16-year-old daughter due to the negligence of our health system in Nigeria. The experience was so painful and still traumatic for me till date. In a bid to ease my pain, I decided to give all her clothing away at the children's orphanage closer to me here at the state capital in Osogbo. On getting there and seeing their condition of living, I had to spend some time with them. Being my first time at an orphanage, their living condition is so appalling. I had to fight back tears severally at my discussions with them and their handlers. I found out that the children within the age, they are within the age of 0 to 19 years of age in 4 sections there, namely the newborn to the toddlers, the children, and the teenagers. At each section, there are urgent and appalling needs, which needs international intervention in the area of feeding, good clothing, and education. They need funds and donations from us of clothes, shoes, toys, and educational materials. I'm praying God's blessing and help for each one of us as we make the world a better place for all. Once again, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you all for the opportunity given me to share my story at this summit. Thank you all.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Beautiful to have you here.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Very, very inspiring story. We'll just bring on our panel. Now, I was really touched when I first heard your story. I can't imagine what it's like to lose a child. What you managed to do with that pain. You just started off wanting to donate her clothes to an orphanage. Now you found the need that's in the orphanage and it's become something you can put your focus on to heal. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you to put in your email in the chat so I can share it with everyone.
I can't hear anyone.
Okay. Okay.
Vicky, do take over and moderate.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you were done. Oliwe Kemi, I was so inspired by you. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Just call me Kemi.
I might have, okay, because I have a feeling I just butchered it, which I do apologize.
Yeah, thank you.
I tried so hard. But
thank you.
I can see
you're
yeah,
so
just call me Kemi.
Okay, Kemi, that's a lot easier.
Yeah, thank you.
You are a phenomenal woman. I can see why you're part of the Her Story family now. You know, they say a parent should never outlive their child, and they
Yes.
say that that is said for very good reason. So I can't imagine how you're moving forward. How tell me how you're moving forward.
Ah, it's so painful.
Yeah.
I know God will help me. I'm still G3. I still think about her every day. It,
Yeah.
it's 7 months today.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 months today. She died April 20th. And things have never remained the same. But I know God will help me.
Yeah.
God will just have to help me.
God will
So
help you.
thank you. I'm
Are
pushing through.
are
I'm
I'm
pushing
so
through.
glad. So I'm hoping that you're finding your own sort of peace, um,
Yes,
creating some
yes,
kind of peace for yourself so you can sleep at night.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm
I, I
sorry.
really found I really found relief when I decided that I'm going to start a foundation in our name,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah. It
that
makes you feel
that
like you're
will
doing
create
something, right? Yeah, that you're
exactly,
honoring their
exactly.
name. Yeah.
Yes,
Good for
yes.
you. Good for
Thank
you.
you,
That's so
thank you.
important to keep busy. It's
Yeah.
what I did, it kind of in a from a different vein, but um, I'm doing the same thing to
Mm,
because my kids are just gone this year
mm,
now, so I
yeah.
understand. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Does anybody else have questions? This powerful story, this beautiful woman, Selena.
It's not a question. I just want to say I feel for you. I
Thank
cry.
you.
I cry with you.
Yeah,
Thank
But I
you.
can, as you say, God will heal you. But I want to
Yeah.
say,
Amen.
God, I want to say, God has healed you. You have found a
Amen.
family. You've found a
Mm,
family. You've found sisters. And the
mm,
most important thing is just to let go. Because,
yeah.
the other time I always think a child God can take, even if it's in your laps. If
Mm,
it's God's time, you can't control it.
yes.
But it's like, okay, let's say we let go. Because I was told a story of a woman who lost her daughter who was 4 years old. And,
Mm,
she didn't forgive. She was grieving every day. She was crying. She couldn't go out. But then she had a dream. And in that dream, she saw one little girl at the edge of the, like in your yard, on the
mm,
green lawn. There were about 6, 7 kids, but there was only one kid who was not playing. And then after a few days, she saw the same dream. And when in the dream, she was saying, "That's your daughter. If you are not going to let go, she's not going to be free. So
mm,
please let go and start meeting people, start living your life." Then she said, "Oh, I was so shocked because I hadn't seen my friends for a long time." Then she started going out. Then after a
wow.
week, exactly a week, she had the same dream, but now that kid was playing, was
Wow.
free. So I want to say, sis, you cry, but just know that
Mm,
it was God's time.
yeah.
Let go.
Mm,
And God will do wonders with your foundation. You'll bring more
amen.
children to your
Amen.
for you to help. Thank you
Amen.
so much for your help. I'm
Thank
done speaking.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
any other questions? No other questions for, yes, Ruth.
Yes, thank you, Vicky. Kemi, what a powerful, powerful story. And I'm so
Thank you.
sorry for your loss. You know, losing a child is, yeah, it's painful. I think it's as a parent, it's the worst that one can go through. I'm so sorry about your loss. And
Thank you.
but I'm grateful to God for your heart, that when you went into this orphanage and you saw a need and you've given yourself to be part of that orphanage and to help them. Thank you
Mm,
so much for holding that space. And I've shared your email address in the chat with
thank
the ladies,
you very much.
um,
Thank
so that they can keep in touch. And yeah, so thank you so much.
thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And Ruth, is there anybody else here from South Africa that we should move up on our list as the speakers for our next speaker?
No, I think we are done with Africa.
We done? Okay. Okay, because we wanted to go a little bit out of order so we could include everybody. So it's because it's getting so late for you all. So we can move on to the next speaker then. So Ruth, the next speaker on the list is not here. So
We
shall
can still
I?
play her video. Who do we have next?
Okay. Well, we're supposed to have Roselle.
Oh yeah, no, Roselle is not coming, but we have Heidi.
Okay.
Ruth,
Well,
did Heidi
Doctor.
get
What
back
about
to
Dr.
us?
Chloe Lim?
Okay, we'll play Dr. Chloe's.
Yeah, because she's after Roselle. Yeah. Okay.
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 And thank you, ladies. I know it's late in Africa. You can stay. We would love you to stay with us. If you need to go, we understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we will play Dr.
Dr.
Chloe
Chloe
Lynn
Lim.
now. Here she is.
I'm a self-confessed high achiever. I mean, I have a PhD in medical science, and my friend confirmed this as well when she told me that I am a high achiever when she found out I was pregnant with twin girls. Now, having said that, I believe each one of you here is a high achiever as well, being part of this powerful community and wanting to empower others with your story. However, 7 years ago, I was miserable at work. I chose to take time off work to take care of my children, which meant that my career was stalled, which made me feel less successful than I ought to be. I started to resent my work, and I was being really negative about the work that I've been given to do. I lost sight of what I really wanted for my life and for my career, and I was stuck in a job that I didn't enjoy anymore. And I was not able to progress because of political issues that were beyond me. And I was basically stuck in a rut. I tried to apply for other work, but I was unsuccessful. The tipping point came 3 years ago when I was in the lab and I was doing a really critical experiment. I was preparing samples for an essay, and all I could think of was how I wanted to quit my job and just leave. In my head, I was just saying, I hate my work. I hate my job. I just want to quit. I just want to quit now. Now, because I was not focusing on what I was doing and I had such negative thoughts in my head, I added the wrong solution for the experiment, and the sample that I was working on was destroyed. I panicked and I tried to ask my colleagues for help to try and salvage this sample, but it was way too late. Now, my supervisor was very unhappy with me, and I remember feeling really crushed because I let the team down. I did not do my best. It was at this point that I realized I have to shift my attitude. I had to change my attitude towards my work. I had poor thoughts, which led to poor feelings and gave me poor results. I needed to turn things around. I mean, I've been so focused on what I don't have that I forgot about all that I do have. And I realized I needed help, and so I invested in a coach to help me get unstuck. I joined this amazing coaching program, and it was through this program that I realized that I had poor attitude to my work, my life, and my family. I wasn't taking responsibility for the results that I do not want and I didn't like, and I blamed others for my failure. When I realized that only I can change my thoughts, feelings, and actions, that it dawned on me for my life to change, I needed to change. Now, that is when I discovered the power of personal growth, that you can choose to change your situation by changing yourself. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping women take responsibility for what they want in their life by taking charge and leading themselves to live a life of meaning and significance. Perhaps this could be a time to check with yourself. What is your attitude towards life, work, or family? Do you feel like you want things in your life to change, or perhaps you need to change the thoughts that you're having right now? I believe you can take charge and choose the life that you want, but it all starts with taking charge of the thoughts in your head. Thank you for listening and letting me share my story with you.
Wonderful. Short and sweet message from Dr. Chloe Lim.
You sure can pick them, Gertrude. She was great.
She was amazing. Any feedback for her? How many times have we all done this?
Yeah. I can make a comment if nobody's ready to do that. I just felt like, the power of what, first of all, they say a leopard can't change his spots. And Dr. Lim has shown us that that is a very old cliche and is not true at all, because she did change her spots. And that's not easy to do, to look yourself in the mirror, recognize your faults, and then correct them. More power to her, because she is going to have a much better life for herself with a positive attitude than you would with a negative one. And she's come to that conclusion. So here to that.
Fantastic.
Here to that. Does anybody want to make a comment as well?
Yeah, I just want to say, sometimes when you focus on the negative, all the negative will come out, and
Exactly.
so like you're saying, Vicky, it's just a mindset and changing our thoughts pattern or our thought trail, and
Right.
start focusing on what, because sometimes I know that sometimes you get tired of routine. Sound like she was tired of her routine at work and it became monotonous, but then she lost focus. But when she came back and decided to refocus, then everything turned.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the power of your mind is an amazing gift, and we should all consider it just that, a gift, and use it, because we as women have great intuition. And she stuck with her intuition, and I admire her for that. That is not an easy thing to do, because I know I had to do that in certain instances. And it's a belief in something that you cannot see. And so it's very scary to forward into a depth that you cannot see. You don't know what that outcome is going to be. It takes great risk, great personal risk. So she is an excellent representation of the HerStory family. Thank you, Gertrude. Yes, Selena.
I mean, especially when it concerns your job.
Yeah.
This was your, like bread, and but where your bread was buttered. If she wasn't going to be, to change your mind, she was going to be a laughing stock. So it was a good thing at the right time that she did that. I mean, I find that most of the time that's what we do. Sometimes as women, we suffer in situations because we can't change our mind. We think, oh no, what will people think? What can I do? I have to. If she could have quitted, she could have said, no, I'm going because I've messed up. But she says, I have to change my mind. And that's powerful. I applaud her for that. Thank you.
Applaud you too, Selena. Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments that they'd like?
I saw Renee's hand going up a second ago.
I had changed my mind. You know me. I'm the difficult one out the group.
Oh, you are not difficult.
I'm sorry, Vicky. This is your first time meeting me. I'm very difficult.
I don't believe it for a second.
You should. You should. I bring a little comic relief every now and again. That's what I try to do. Sometimes our topics can be so deep that I try to make people laugh just a little bit. But what I got from her speech was basically
the greatest medicine
about right. What I got about her message was basically a change of mindset. It's all about anything we do in life, we have to make a decision. So just like you said, Vicky, having to have that difficult conversation with yourself in the mirror and then making the conscious decision to change your mind about how you feel about yourself, about what you've done, good, bad, indifferent. It's all about changing your mind. So when you're thinking about mindset and thinking about making those changes, as difficult as they may be, once you get the wheels moving, for lack of better words, you just have to put in your mind that there's really no turning back and that whatever you're doing is what's best for you. And even if you fail at whatever you try to do, the fact being that you look again and figure out, okay, so what did I do wrong? Let me fix that and then continue down the path that I'm going. So it's all about mindset.
It sure is. Hear, hear. Are we ready to move on for our next speaker, Gertrude?
I think we are. So who do we have on our next lineup?
Well, the next, I believe, is Carolyn Barnes. I don't see her here.
Carolyn didn't make it.
Okay. And then Kimberly Wilkerson.
Yes, we have a video from Kimberly. We can play that next.
Okay.
Renee, quick question for you before we go on to the next video. Would you like to present live? She's disappeared. Okay.
There you are.
I'm sorry. Gertrude, I take care of my dad, so he had called me, so I had to run off for a minute. What question do you have for me?
My question was, would you like to present live or do you want us to do your video after this one?
I could present live. It's perfectly fine. My
girl.
Yes. Okay. So we'll play Kimberly's video and then we'll go to Renee next.
Okay.
Oh, good. I can't wait, Renee. I can't wait.
She is amazing. That's why I do prefer to watch her live because she spices it up.
Yeah, I want to hear all the trouble she gets in.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Carolyn.
Hi there. So my name is Kimberly Wilkerson, and I am supposed to be here to tell you about who I am. But I think first I should start off by telling you who I'm not. I'm not somebody who was born to a third world country. I'm not somebody who has an amazing product for you to buy. And I'm not somebody who feels it's their mission to save the world. And I know that there are a lot of amazing women out there that have a lot more to say and have a lot more to offer as far as products for you to purchase and to give back to the communities and things like that. I'm a writer. I'm a pretty common woman for the US, and I'm also someone who has suffered a lot of traumas and illnesses throughout my life, and I find it sometimes a struggle to find the balance in all aspects of life. And for that is the reason why I'm here, to tell you why I advocate for mental health and also why I became a writer. I have written throughout my life. I began writing as a preteen to help me get through a really tough childhood that was surrounded by abuse, addiction, with drugs and alcoholism and that sort of thing. And reading and writing was my best source of escapism. And until I found something that was higher and greater than myself to put my faith in, it really helped save my life in many ways. I think it's really important to understand the connection that we get from reading and writing. It's so important for our imagination, and our imagination is really what kind of stems our hope. And my faith dictates that hope is so important. So hope really is something that will inspire love in our lives. And really, who doesn't truly desire love in their life? I mean, everybody does, and that's really how the world can function on such a greater level. And I think that is so very important. And as an advocate for mental health, I find that hope is one of the core aspects of helping people to thrive instead of just survive through whatever traumas they have endured. I am and always have been a single mother, a hard worker, and somebody with great faith. And that's not something that is going away. And I've recognized that that's really what has helped me get here to you, after having been bedbound for multiple years. And I think that it's really important that we all keep talking about these things and don't just try to throw money or products in any kind of ways. There are things that, yes, will bring you happiness and bring you joy, and I think those things are very important, especially, like I said, as a preteen. I needed books. I needed to escape. I needed to write. I needed to have my journal with me. Those were the things that got me through the times that I needed to get through. But I think that it's also very important that we don't overshadow digging deep inside of us and finding what we need to help fix, or if something's not broken in us, fix whatever it is surrounding us, or our outlook, or our perception of something, or other people's perception of us, because there's miscommunication, whatever it is. There are so many different types of therapies and help out there that we can get through mental health services. And I recognize that, the US is very fortunate in that regard. And there are other countries that don't have these things, but truly, there will be resources made available should you reach out. And I think it's very important that we talk about those things with our families, with our friends. And if they're not willing, then we find somebody who is willing to listen. Reaching out to people in the magazine, or reading literature that is going to help inspire you and keep that hope going until those resources become available. If you don't have them currently, these are are things that cannot be replaced. Hope and love in your life is not something that can be replaced. And I truly believe that that's something very, very important. When I became an author and decided to keep writing and blogging, I really wanted to just let other people know that they're not alone. You know, multiple people in the world have gotten ill. Multiple people in the world have not made it through that. Multiple people in the world have made it through that. And when you are faced with the idea that you may not make it through, and you accept that, once that is not the case any longer, you have to come up with a new plan on what your future looks like and reimagine your life all over again. And what that really has kind of instilled in me is that we can reimagine our life over and over again as many times as we want. And we can strive, and then thrive towards whatever goals we set out, and not give up on that. I think what's important to know is that to help ease the struggles that will come throughout life, because life is like a roller coaster and has ups and downs, and we get through storms, and we have to see the other side and recognize that every storm, usually there's a rainbow you can be happy to recognize afterwards. A lot of the times, having support and having a supportive community surrounding you, regardless if that's, you know, via the internet or if it's in your local community, having that support can very well make things lighter and more bearable. Yeah, I think that's really about it. See, I have some notes just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I do want to say that I'm really grateful to be surrounded by all these amazing women that are going to be in this magazine, that have come before me, that are going to come after me. They truly, I mean, I'm grateful every day for some of the most amazing people that I've met. These strong women who have helped me, they've encouraged me, and they remind me all the time of the woman that I continue to want to be, and not just who I am, or not just who I've become and who I've pressed to move forward as, but who I can continue to go towards, because there's always more that we are going to learn throughout our life. So if I can help anyone, even if it's very few people, one person, if I can return that, whatever I've gotten from these connections that I've been fortunate enough to find, then I can honestly say that I've done something incredible, and it's totally worth listening to people maybe not agree. Because there's going to be people in life that are hard to deal with. And so we will continue to fight the good fight and, be supportive of each other. And please reach out. Do what you need to do. Read, write, get therapy, seek out support, regardless of your circumstances. And just try to be the best person you can. And then you can honestly say that you've done something incredible. So that's all from me. And thank you for having me, and hope to see you read something from me that maybe will give you some inspiration. Thank you.
Well, that was pretty powerful. Gertrude, you're still mic'd.
I always get to unmute.
Yeah, unmute everybody. Is Kimberly here to ask questions to, or?
No, we can give her feedback. She'll have to watch the recording.
Okay, well, we can talk a little bit about her, at least discuss what we heard today. If Kimberly were here today, I think I would ask her why she thinks she's not worthy.
Yes.
Because that was upsetting for me, because she's more than worthy. And mental health is such a big subject today for so many reasons. And she's struggling, but yet she's out there trying to use her life story to help others when she is so still very fragile. So that makes her very worthy in my book.
And this is why we keep saying, Vicky, every single story has to be honored.
Yes.
You should never minimize your story. It doesn't matter how small you feel you are. It doesn't matter whether you think you're not saving the world. If you share your story and you help one person, then the job is done.
Yes.
So I totally agree with you there.
Yeah. Powerful, Gertrude. Powerful. Yeah. Does anybody else want to make a comment about what we heard from Kimberly today?
I'll say something. I totally agree with
Okay, yeah.
what you said, Vicky. She needs, as she's trying to tell people to encourage others and get the help that you need, she needs to also remember that there are certain things that she still needs to get help with, and encourage herself that she is worthy of everything in life that she wants, that she can step out on faith and move those obstacles out the way. I was kind of taken back, and that's why I guess sometimes I try to like laugh and joke in these segments, because her story, and this is not like negative against her, but because of where she is, I believe, she was so melancholy, and it's like almost like she felt like she's defeated. And even though that's her story, and like Gertrude said, don't downplay it, at the same time too, you have to want better for yourself. It goes back to what Doctor said before her, about mindset. She has to make sure that she's definitely like aware of where her mind is and what she's doing. And hopefully, like she's telling us, to journal, to write, to take pictures, to go on trips or whatever she was mentioning, that she's doing the same thing, and also looking for the professional help as well.
Yeah. Excellent. I agree. I think by being in a group like this, it give her the opportunity to have brilliant people like yourself to talk her through whatever is going on, because as women we want to stick together. So so you could be how excellent is that advice? So thank you, Renee. That was good. Now, Celine, I think you had something you wanted to say.
No, I guess it was, I felt her, and I was almost drawn to her. She's so low.
Yeah.
She just needs all the love, the support, because she really needs to be raised up. That's the way I felt. So thank you.
Yeah. But we can do that, can't we, Celine?
Yeah,
As
exactly.
women, as a part of the HerStory family,
Mhm.
we need to let Kimberly know that we're all here for her.
We are here for her, yeah.
So I hope you're going to listen to this playback, Kimberly. If not, I think you'll be getting a few phone calls from some of us
Yes.
because we stick together.
Yes,
And
Thanks
it
to
took a
Gertrude.
lot of courage. It took a lot of courage for her to share this video.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could sense that. And
Yeah.
Kim, thank you for saying yes.
Mm.
This was the first step to a beautiful journey of owning your story, sharing it with the world. You know, mental health is a big issue, and especially now with the state the world is in.
Yeah.
Especially now with the state the world is in. So we love you. We commend you for stepping onto our platform and sharing your story with us today. Thank you for that.
And I just want to say to Kimberly, there's no need to apologize. You are something. You are powerful. You are precious. You know, you are special as Kimberly, and yeah, I think maybe next summit we'll see a change in the way you introduce yourself. But you've got such a powerful story. So own it and yeah, be it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Ruth.
That's
All
great.
right. So I think we can move on to our next speaker, and that should be Renee then, our comic relief.
I don't know, Gertrude. I feel kind of bad. I think you should show at least part of the video because I was in that wonderful location and I purposely like put that area behind me because it was so beautiful when I recorded it. So I don't know. I think you should kind of show the video. At least show the screenshot of it or something because it was just fabulous. I was having a great time and
Okay, so let me find that.
We want the real thing.
No
Real.
problem with you knowing your self-worth. How about that?
They told me I had to do the video. I took the perfect opportunity to film my video while I was in Cancun.
Oh, come
I'm just
on.
like,
You're just making us jealous.
I just thought the background of the video was just fabulous. If nothing, you don't have to hear nothing I said. It was just all the greenery. I wasn't on the beach side, but just the greenery behind my room was just amazing. So if y'all don't look at nothing, the serenity of the greenery is just gonna blow y'all mind. That's all.
And you didn't take us.
Okay. So Renee.
You know, you didn't need clothes. You could have put me in your suitcase. I would have fit.
I'm sorry.
Renee, forward the email to me again. So it was also part of my system.
Never mind. You can show us sometime next week. I don't even know where that is right now. You're asking me to do a whole bunch of stuff that never mind. Let me find a green screen or some greenery or something right quick. No,
so we
Come on, Renee. Come on,
Renee. Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Okay, we'll all move out the way first. Hold on.
You ain't gotta move. You ain't gotta move. Well, hello everybody. Okay, so you all, those of you who have never seen me on Her Story Circle, my name is Y Renee. I am from the United States. I hail from outside the great city of Chicago, Illinois. My story is just that I am a character. No, I'm just kidding. I survived 15 years of domestic abuse. I've survived 4 suicide attempts, and I've survived being gunned down. I was shot 4 times in my back. As a matter of fact, this December 28th of 2021, it will be 13 years since I survived that. The miracle in me surviving that is one was an in and out, one was a graze, ricocheted off of every organ in my body. My lungs collapsed on the operating table. I was in surgery for 4.5 hours. All my vital organs were hit except for my heart. 2 stayed inside of my body for 9 months. One bullet put the size of a quarter in my 12th vertebrae, nicked my spinal cord, and rendered me paralyzed. I am not paralyzed, as you all seen a couple of times. I jumped up out of my chair going to take care of my father. However, God is good. I was paralyzed for 2.5 days. I was up walking by the 5th day, out of the hospital by the 8th day. So when I come onto platforms like this, there are several stories I could tell. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with low self-esteem. I've dealt with of course, not wanting to take my own life, wanting just not to wake up the next morning, not necessarily saying I'm suicidal, but I have those thoughts of like, if I just don't get up, nobody's going to really care. I'm not going to care. I'm not going to know. So it really doesn't matter. However, when I come on these platforms to encourage you, I just need you to understand that no matter what you've been through, no matter how difficult it has become, you can survive and live your best life in your after. One of my keynotes, or probably my main keynote, is always thriving in your after. And what is after? After is anything after any traumatic incident that you occur. My trauma is not your trauma. Your trauma does not have to be as on the scale of my trauma. However, let's just say we're in the midst of this pandemic still. And some people are returned to work. Some people are still lucky enough to have remote employment. Some people are still locked down, like Miss Gertrude is, stuck in a country where she's away from home. Even though she's enjoying her grandchild, she can't go back to her actual home. And in a way, right now, it's not traumatizing to her because she's enjoying the fruits of her labor. She's enjoying her grandchild. But what if she did not have her grandchild? What if she was there, even though she may have been with family and friends? However, she's away from her husband. She's away from other loved ones in her home country, and she can't get back to them. That could be traumatizing. However, once this world opens back up, or while she's in the places she's at, she needs to learn to adapt and be okay in the after. So what I usually give is a few affirmations, because I'm very big on affirmations and acronyms. And just to let you all know, so what else do I do before I go into my affirmations and my acronyms? I am a 3-time best-selling author on Amazon. I've written 2 lovely, juicy short read books that are available on Amazon. The first book is Assassination Avoided, Destiny Defined. And that's the story of me surviving abuse and surviving being shot. And then I took a hiccup. I took a turn down the street, and depression hit me all over again, where I thought I was over some things pertaining to my situation. I really was not. And I had to deal with self-esteem. I had to deal with rejection. I had to deal with things that I thought I had pretty much uncovered and dealt with, but there was some still hiding. It's called residue. And so I wrote my second book in the midst of my depression, called When Did I Stop Loving You? It's an ode to self, meaning not when did I stop loving you as in I'm looking at you, but when did I stop loving you as in looking at myself in the mirror. And I give people tips and steps to come out of and learn how to rediscover loving yourself again. And I'm proud to say that my first book is on audio now. So I'm doing so much stuff. I'm also a life coach with a specialization in trauma recovery, which means that, like I said, the reason why I picked trauma recovery is this. I understand sometimes and I'm big on therapy. I'm big on getting professional help. However, there are some times we go to these therapists, psychotherapists, counselors, social workers, whomever we go to. And because they're talking book theory, they may not necessarily understand your situation as dealing what it was. I give the example of myself. I have a wonderful therapist. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. However, my therapist, really gave me textbook, walked me through some things. I promise you, I probably went through 2 boxes of tissues every time we got together when I first started seeing him. However, we got to a point where he could no longer identify with me. And what does that mean? First of all, he's a male. He has no idea what it's like to be a female. Secondly, he had never been in an abusive relationship before. So he had no idea what it's like to be abused or be an abuser. At least he didn't tell me. 3, he was not African American. So dealing with things that African Americans do deal with as far as being of color, there were certain things he just did not understand. And what I had to do was dig deep inside my own well and figure things out for myself by having candid conversations with others, which helped me help myself, which then entail I began to write that stuff down. And some of the conversations I began to have with others who were going through similar situations, they began to connect. They began to feel better. They began to call me again and ask me for more advice, which led me to thinking, oh, you know what? I'm not trying to be funny, but I should be getting paid for this. Because why? I'm an expert in what happened to me, and I'm an expert with dealing with trauma. Whenever you go through something in life, whatever your story is, you now become an expert in what you went through. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Why? Because nobody can tell you how you dealt with what you dealt with. you become the expert of your situation. And in becoming the expert of your situation, you actually can help other people. So again, I'm a life coach. I deal with trauma recovery. I do take clients. I love group coaching because I think that's more helpful to know that you have people that can connect with that are going through things that you're going through. I am an international by way of her story circle and being in person. I'm an international speaker and also a domestic speaker. I've spoken all throughout the United States, and I've spoken in physically in 2 countries. Virtually depends on when you open this little lovely video up and you see my face wherever you're at. That's where I'm international at. So before I close out, and I just want to say this: believe in yourself. Know that no matter what you've gone through, when you get to a place called stuck, you can come through it. I think I use the analogy of a tunnel. When you look at a tunnel, I don't care how far back you're in the tunnel, how dark it is. If you look straight ahead, somewhere in that tunnel, there is a beacon of light. I don't care how small, it could be as small as a pinhole. Once your eyes adjust to the dark, you'll be able to focus and find out where that light is. If you begin to walk towards the light then becomes bigger, which lets you know that there's a way out. God always takes you through something. He does not leave you in it. So if you're in something now, just know that God's going to bring you out. I'm a woman of great faith. I mention God whenever a platform allows me to, and being a part of this wonderful platform allows us to talk about our faith. And it's amazing to me. So what I'm going to give you is 5 words. And I like to spell out the word after. So when you're thriving, you're after, the first word is affirm. You need to affirm yourself. I don't care if you need 500 sticky notes on your mirror, in your car, if you need to record them on your phone so you can play them back to yourself, if you need to type them in your phone and just pull up the notes part on your phone and you can read them back. Whatever words resonate with you to affirm yourself, to let you know that you're going to be okay, whether it be I'm going to have an amazing day, I'm beautiful, I'm courageous, whatever your words are, make sure you affirm yourself daily. I prefer morning affirmations, but sometimes people may need that encouragement throughout the day. So just remember to affirm yourself daily. F, faith. Again, I'm a woman of great faith, and I believe faith over fear. The acronym of fear is false evidence appearing real. And I just really believe that with God on our side, when you believe deep down inside that you have the strength, the courage, or whatever that's in your well, no matter how far down the well is, if you pull that up with the faith that you have, it's going to help you get out of some tough situations and some tough thought processes, basically. Sometimes we need to have those difficult conversations first with self. And having that faith to do so is going to help you in so many ways. T. No, yep. Yep. Hey, I got to spell it out, y'all. Yeah, I was right. I'm sorry. T. Quit laughing at me, Gertrude. And everybody else. I told y'all, I'm hilarious. Some people say I should be a comedian. Lies. Anywho, T, tenacious. I was talking yesterday. I'm an avid animal lover, really keen to dogs. I got my first dog officially. I mean, my godparents stuff had dogs, but I got my first dog officially. As a matter of fact, when me and my ex-husband started dating, and it was a great day. I loved them. Now I'm more to little bitty dogs that I carry in my purse. However, my favorite dog, when you think about dogs, what they stand for, is the pit bull. I know a lot of people are scared of pit bulls because of maybe the way that they get a bad rap. But just like with anything, to train a dog to be mean is learned behavior. You could teach a dog to be just as nice as whatever have you, but what you have to realize is, regardless of what you teach a dog is protective regardless. I don't care if you got a little bitty toy something or another, or a big old huge dog. If you've raised that dog to love you and to care for you, anytime something happens to you, it's going to be protected. Now, when I talk about the pit bull, though, the reason why I love the pit bull is because when they grab a hold to something, lovingly or not, they hold on to it so much so that where their jaws lock, to where you have to pry it open most times to free it. I need people to be that tenacious about going after the best things that they want out of life for themselves, whether it be a new job, whether it be an entrepreneur starting your own business, whether it be an acting career, whether it be having the best relationship you have, one with self first, because self-love is the best love, only after the love of God the Father. That's my quote. Y'all can take that, write that down. Whatever it is that you need to do, whatever you need to do, make it better. I need you to hold on to it and be tenacious about doing so. Hold on to it until you get the results that you need. E, effort. With anything that we do in life, we have to put forth the effort. You have to make sure that you're doing everything, sure that you're going towards whatever goals you've set for yourself, even if it's just coming out of a depression. If you set a goal that you're tired of, sick and tired of being sick and tired, put forth the effort to do that. If you're somebody, when you know you're going through a depressed stage, you don't get up in the morning, force yourself to get out of bed. If you know you're someone who you may, and I'm just being for real, people that go through depression, they have a hard time even brushing their teeth sometimes, or even so if you feel like yourself is going through those things, make sure you are intentional and put forth the effort to get out of bed, to shower, to brush your teeth. Even if you might get back in the bed, you've made a move to kind of go towards the end of that tunnel, that you're going to come up out of it. Everything that Rome wasn't built in a day, just like everything's not going to happen immediately. Now, I do believe in supernatural manifestations and supernatural miracles and healings and things like that. However, some things that we go through, it's a process for us to get there, and it's going to be a process to get out. Don't beat yourself up during the process. And my favorite word next to tenacious is resilient. People laugh at me all the time and they ask me, how do I do what I do? And I think that God has given me a measure of resilience. If I personally can try to take my life 4 times, and I fail, apparently. And then someone years later had the audacity to come and try to take my life by shooting me 4 times, and I'm still here. That's a form of resilience that most people will probably never experience in life. And the fact being that I did not allow it to keep me down, I did not allow it to hinder me, because by all means, everyone I talk to will be like, you know what, if I was you, I'd probably be somewhere underneath a bed in a padded cell with one of those fashionable jackets on that strap around and hook in the back. And they don't understand why I'm the way I am. And I just say, it's not me, really. It's really the grace of God. However, with having the grace of God, He's given me the strength and given me the know-how to be resilient and to make sure that I stand flat-footed in everything I do. So with that being said, I have now spelled out the word after for you. Affirm, faith, tenacious or tenacity, effort, and resilience. I pray that something I've said has resonated with you. Maybe I brought a little laughter to your day and you haven't laughed in a few weeks, days, hours. It doesn't matter. But with that, whatever's going on in your life, just know that regardless to the fact, there's always tomorrow, and you can thrive in your after. I'm Y Renee, and it's been a pleasure being able to present to you all today.
Okay, I'm on. Well, that was so amazing. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. So let me ask you, so after all of this, all your low moments, you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and then you're shot. Are you kidding me? So did you know who shot you, or is this something that you were just caught in a crossfire?
No, I honestly believe they never found my shooter and they never found the gun. However, I was thrown out of my home 2 months and 2 days before I was shot. That's when me and my ex-husband separated. Do I believe that my ex-husband has something to do with it? Wholeheartedly. And I tell everybody, everywhere I go, I'll go with that to my grave until Jesus himself come and tap me on my shoulder and tell me that he had nothing to do with it. Like I said, it wasn't ever proven. They couldn't connect the dots. My ex-husband had an alibi for the night in question. And again, since they never found a shooter, never found a gun, that no, my case went cold.
That's frustrating. So you believe that you know who shot you, but yet you can't get justice for that. But yet you're talking about letting things go. You're amazing.
No, well, I'm all right. Now, Vicky,
are you kidding? Someone shot you. You think you know who it is. The police didn't give you justice, but yet you're positive. You're moving on from that. that is a fine example to all of us women. And thank you for your grace, because that is, well, everything that you've been through, and to have such humor and kindness and just grace. I don't know of a better word. I just I think you're pretty terrific.
Oh, well, thank you, Vicky. You're pretty terrific as well. Your story is just as amazing. I don't know anybody I could say offhand that has survived and been living life, being or having actual cancer for 11 years. I don't know anybody. I lost my mom 4 years ago to pancreatic cancer. So
Yeah, it's
for you to be
scary.
living after 11 years, girl, please, you got me beat.
I don't know. I don't know about that. And it certainly isn't a contest because, as you so eloquently stated earlier on, that um, we don't compare our problems to other people's problems because our problems are so severe. It's unfair, and it's just life. Like, we know that we just were dealt a bad hand. It's what you do with that hand that that makes you a stronger, better person. We just maybe were dealt worse hands than some other people out there, but um, we can honestly say that we took that pain and we turned it into something positive. So
I will say this: when you talk
you're
about
here
playing
nuts.
cards, we got dealt a hand, and luckily
Yeah.
it was poker, so we got to turn in 2 cards and came in with a full house. How about that?
Okay, I like that. Okay, we'll stick with that. Does anybody else have any questions? Gertrude? Yes.
Renee, I've heard your story 1,000 times, but it always leaves me feeling uplifted, energized, motivated. And I'm going to ask you the question that I asked you the first time I heard your story. What makes you wake up every day and be you? How have you found this space in your heart to infuse such a tragic story with this humor? I I would love
Well,
to
in
understand
all
where
in
you
all
are.
honesty, again, I give all honors to God. It's not me. What I have to realize is, I came across I'm gonna call him a guy because I'm gonna call him something else, and that's just not politically correct. So I'm gonna be nice. I dated a guy a few years ago, and we were having a conversation about my situation. I guess this particular day I was having a pity party or something, and he keeps saying, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "What do you mean? I'm the one who got shot. I'm the one who did this. I'm the one who did. It's about me. It's about me." And he says, "Is it really about you?" And I think that God just used him to shut me up. He was like, "Is it really about you?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean? I'm the one who went through it." He said, "Yeah, but if you didn't tell me or anybody else you had been shot, I wouldn't believe you." He was like literally, he was like, "I've seen." He's like, "You had to show me bullet wounds when you first met me." I did. I literally had to show him the bullet wound on the side. And when he's like, "So I would have believed you because you look like nothing of what you've been through. So is it really about you?" And that was when I guess God used, like I like to say, he used the ass in the Bible and he used the ass in my story. So he used this person to kind of
Yeah.
bring me back down and make me realize if it was about me or if it had something really to do with me or if God didn't trust me with the assignment, I'll say that. I probably would have lost a kidney or a liver. I probably would have lost my spleen. I probably would have been on some type of dialysis or needed some type of colostomy bag. I would have been in a wheelchair. I would have not been walking. I would have walked with a limp. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different outcomes that could have been to this story, but since those are not it, I have to refocus my direction and be like, you know what? Then it's really not about me. It's about who I can share this story with to give them encouragement to know that if God can do it for me, he can do it for you because he has no respect of person. Now, the comedy, Gertrude, to be perfectly honest with you, my comic relief is really a defense mechanism. It's when I try to avoid a situation, when I'm extra nervous, when I feel like I have to do something I really might not feel like I want to do, or I'm being forced to do something. Yeah, I get a little goofy. It has been, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's difficult. Why? Because it's a part of masking. And one of the things that I try to get people to understand in life is that masking is not necessarily good. However, sometimes it's necessary. So I'm goofy by nature too, so I guess that might be part of it. I don't know. Like I said, my friends thought I should be a comedian. I don't think I'm funny at all. Like, but when people laugh at me, I'm like, okay, if you thought that was funny, you didn't. So,
I love your book. So I think it works for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Renee, if you
I'm
read
very-
my book, I had a lot of humor when I wrote about my story too. I think, humor is a positive way to deal with some of our problems.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, Selena, did you have a question? And I will be right back.
I didn't have a question, but I've got a comment.
Okay.
I just thought, it's just like you're walking back from the dead. How many lives do you have?
I actually think I did code on the table. I have to go back and actually look at I do have the transcripts from my surgery, and I can't remember if I coded or not. I don't like saying that. If I didn't, that would be a lie. So I never really, but I kind of remember somebody telling me. I know my lungs collapsed on the operating table, which caused them to complete the surgery earlier than they thought they would, because they still had not pulled out 2 bullets. So 2 bullets stayed inside of me for 9 months. They actually, over time, which is dangerous, they gravitated to my right side, and I went back in for like a little outpatient surgery, and they removed the last 2 bullets 9 months later. However, I'm not sure if I coded. So when you say coming back from the dead, that might be very well correct, Selena. I just can't confirm or deny.
Strong girl. Wow. It's I mean, I know. It's like what you said before. When you had is it your counselor or somebody who was working with you? Sometimes they don't understand. What you're talking, I can understand because I grew up seeing, hearing things like that. And some of the things I went through in my own life. So I understand that it can happen. And as you said, you can only ask for somebody who have gone through something to teach somebody. Otherwise, there's no point. It's not just about theory. Theory doesn't work.
Correct.
I mean, I know, Vicky, I didn't hear your story. I also survived cancer stage 4.
Oh,
I
amazing.
was pulled from the grave. The
Yeah, me
doctors
too.
thought I was going to die. But, I heard a voice saying, no, what are you waiting for?
Not today, right?
You are already healed. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not. I don't think I am.
Yeah.
But I know our God is a faithful God.
Yeah, I believe that.
And can I look back and say, why did you do it? Oh gosh, no ways. Now
No.
meeting such wonderful women, why would I say that?
And we don't question God's work,
He had a purpose. He had a purpose
Mhm.
for us. So we need to look to focus on that. How can I serve? How can I be there for others? How can I inspire?
And you're doing that.
That's what I do. And I love it. Thank you, Dan.
We love hearing you. Thank you.
Thank you, Selena.
Miss Ruth.
Yeah, I can't get over the fact that she attempted to take her own life 4 times, and then life played a cruel joke on her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know, right?
But
You can't
as she
make
came
this
out
stuff
of
up.
it,
What'd
and
you
she
say?
came out of it with this story, with this, which she tells with this sense of humor, with such a positivity. You're awesome, Renee.
Thank you. I
I
actually sat
enjoy
on my
your energy.
thank you. I sat on my suicide story for a while though, only because it was embarrassing. One, I mean, for real, like at that time, of course, and I'm speaking for Renee. I'm not speaking for anybody else who's out there who are survivors of suicide, because everybody's story again is different. But when you come about something like that, you try doing it. Like during that time of my life, I felt like I was a huge failure with everything. Like the first time I tried to take it, I was in my adolescence. I'm not gonna say I don't count them. However, I was very, very young. The second 2 times I tried to take it in the midst of my marriage because I just figured like there was no other way out. And when you come up out of something like that, the biggest thing I thought of was like, okay, you know what? For real, you can't even do this right. You failed at a marriage. You failed in that. You can't even take your own life right? For real, seriously, who does that? So I'm just kind of like the last time I was just like, you know what? Apparently you can't do that right. Apparently you just doomed to stay with this in this horrible life. Just forget. Don't even try no more. Don't even waste no time.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
how I felt about it. Seriously.
Now that's martyrdom.
Started talking about the suicide was unfortunately a young man that I was dating a couple years ago. We've known each other for over 30 years and decided a relationship, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. And but while we were in the midst of our dating, I call her my bonus daughter because she had started calling me mom. She took her life, and she was only 18 at the time. So when we were talking about it, I'm very, very close with her older sister, and we were sitting down. It was me, her, and her father sitting down talking about it. And because I already have the non-for-profit organization, which I forgot to mention, my organization at the time was just geared towards domestic violence. Well, when this young lady took her life, of course, it began to uncover some things in me that I hadn't dealt with or that I had just kind of put under cover. Because like I told you, if I failed, then why even talk about it? So when I got with them, I began to ask them if it would be okay for me to put that on my platform as well. So with their approval, I actually added a branch of For My Voice Matters. We have a branch tab. It's Talk About Bullying, but it's also her initials, which is Trendy Ann Banks. So I have that branch, which hopefully my prayer is definitely in 2022 for me to get into some of these school systems or get around the country or around the world. And let's talk about these demons of domestic abuse and suicide and see how much of it we can conquer and like send to its early death, because I'm really kind of over it. Like even within the year within like 12 months of her time passing, I had I want to say at least 7 children in my local area, high school children who took their lives. And, I think about when I was an adolescent and I thought about taking my life. One was over a serious heartbreak. At least I thought I was heartbroken. I dodged the bullet. Nobody knows it, but I actually dodged the bullet. But anyway, back then I was just devastated. When you're adolescent, you think that, that the world is just what it is now. And it's my job, I think, because I survived my adolescence and even into my adulthood, to let these youth know that, yeah, it may look like it's difficult now. Yes, you're living in a totally different time zone than I did. You're dealing with so much more that I didn't have to deal with. However, there is really nothing that's that bad to where you need to end your life. You need to give life a real try. And technically, you haven't even touched the surface of life when you're in grammar school and high school. I went to a domestic violence walk 2 years ago and for the pandemic. And the thing that broke my heart was not only was I out there walking in honor of Trinity, but to see how many other young people that people were out there walking for with their pictures, with their banners, with their t-shirts, along with middle-aged people and even people in their 50s and 60s for whatever reason. It's just such an epidemic that it's sad. And I just really feel like whatever I could do to give somebody a little bit of a hope, I think that's what God left me on this earth to do. So I try my best to do what I can when I can.
That is beautiful, Renee. Absolutely beautiful. Now, let's just end this little segment with your permission, Vicky.
Oh, please.
By playing the so-called video in Mexico. I found it.
Oh.
Now it's probably gonna repeat some of the stuff I just said. I mean, you can just play it like 2 minutes. Just like a minute or two, so you can just see the background. The background was amazing.
The
And I had
background
to
was
admit,
amazing.
I got up on purpose and made my face up and got cute.
Oh, Manuela, hey!
Oh, yay.
Hello, hi everyone. What a party. What a beautiful energy this morning. Thank you for
Hello.
having me.
Welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you here.
Manuel is our last speaker. But we all want to see Renee first. We want to see the background because we all want to be jealous about your vacation. So let's see it.
Actually, Vicky, it wasn't a vacation. I was actually speaking. I was on business.
Speaking at a
Well,
conference.
take me to speak with you next time. I want to go to those places to speak. I'm only speaking in the places there is no sunshine.
It's okay. Big
You're only speaking virtually.
Look, let me just be prophetic for a minute. And I don't walk in the prophetic, but I know when I hear God, and I've been saying this for a while, but I never really had an opportunity to talk to Gertrude. So before you show this video, Gertrude, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this openly. Once the world really opens back up, or when these people decide that they're going to quit forcing people to be vaccinated and all that other stuff, that's a whole nother story for another day. Yeah. I cannot wait for you to do a huge summit and have all of us from all over the world in one place for 3 to 4 days. I'm waiting for it. So, Vicky, if you don't get nothing before then, just know you'll be in Australia and New Zealand before you know it.
Okay, I'm in. Count me in.
Yeah, that's already in the pipeline. And before we end, remind me to show you the venues I'm picking for our in-person reunion.
Oh, I totally want to see those.
All right, so we're going to play this video.
Okay.
We might play the whole thing, but we will see. How much time do we have, Ruth?
15 minutes. And I thought Heidi was coming as well. So we've got
Heidi is on her way. She sent an email.
So we have another. Heidi's wasn't on the list. So we have another speaker.
Yeah, we have 2 more speakers. So I'll play 5 minutes of Renee's video. Manuela is here. She'll be next. And then Heidi will probably come in as we close. Okay?
Okay.
So here we go.
Enjoy.
Oops. What's it doing?
You lost it. See?
Share screen. Share screen. I was doing the wrong thing. Share a window. Oh, what is it doing? So I'm having the same problem I had with the other video. It's saying the format isn't recognized. So let me try something else.
When you tried something else the last time, you were genius. So you're trying.
The last time I uploaded it, it was on the Google Drive. Okay, so let's go on to Manuela's video while I upload this video onto the drive. It's not letting me play it as it is. So just bear with me. That was now on the go. Manuela, it's lovely to see you.
Yes.
Lovely to see you too. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So just tell everybody where you're based.
So yes, my name is Manuela Garcia. I'm originally from Spain, but I live in Auckland, New Zealand. I've been here for the last 12 years, relocated with my then husband and my beautiful daughter about 12 years ago from London. And yes, it's been home ever since for the time being. So yes, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. I just loved when I logged in. Ruth said, Manuela, please log in. And I thought, this is a party. This is beautiful. What a wonderful energy. We should be doing this every day. To be honest.
Well, Manuela, we tried a 31-day marathon once.
Yes.
We've done it twice.
Wow.
For 31 days, Ruth and I were online 8 hours every single day.
Wow.
For 31 days.
December and March, right?
March, yeah.
Yeah, so we went around the world. We were in 30 countries. We were so jet lagged by the time we finished. It felt like we were flying around the world.
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, that was crazy. It was crazy.
Sounds fantastic.
Okay, so here we go, ladies.
Oh,
Hope I
Manuela.
don't run into my technical problems again, but if I do, I have
My name is
your...
Manuela.
I'm having the same problem. So the file format, but I have you on Google Drive, so we can play it from there. Try another thing. Share screen. Chrome. Google Drive. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Manuela Garcia. I am 46. I live in New Zealand, and this is my story. It is an absolutely honor to be here with you and being able to take you through a journey of love, self-worth, and self-discovery. From Spain to London, and from London to New Zealand, where my home is. I would have probably been my daughter's age, 16, and I remember clearly being seated by the pool with my dad at our summer's house back in Alicante, Spain. I can sense the powerful smell of my mom's roses, the rosemary, and the pine trees that surrounded the house over the hills. It could have been July or August, since we used to go there for summer holidays. And I remember talking to my dad about everything while staring at the beautiful moon and the thousands of stars above us. You always make me wonder, looking at those stars, about how big the world is and how connected we are with each other. I wanted to travel. I wanted to go to faraway places, to meet other cultures, and maybe even learn a new language. But when you're 16, they're just beautiful dreams, right? As beautiful and far away as those shiny stars on a summer night. The actual question asking myself deep down was, are you good enough to live your dream? A few years later, now in my early 20s, I moved from Spain to London. I left my law degree, my family, and a very comfortable life living with my parents to move with my then boyfriend, who then became my husband and the father of my daughter years later. I know it sounds very exciting, right? And it was. Summer of 1997, to be more precise. Possibly one of the best summers recorded in London. It was hot and sunny, and it was beautiful everywhere. I spent 2 months visiting museums, the most famous landmarks, going to the park to read my newspaper. It was great, and I loved it. But then everything changed. After I came back from Spain in 1997, September of 1997, after passing my driving license. I was a law student back home. I lived with my parents and my 2 siblings. I have never worked in Spain. Life was easy and beautiful. And overnight, I became a housewife. I had to take care of the house, the groceries, the cooking, the cleaning. It was like waking up from a dream. And on top of that, I had literally 6 months to find a job, and I didn't even speak the language. I have never used a computer in my life either. But those were the conversations with my then partner back then. If you can find a job, you'll have to go back. And I remember spending literally 6 months studying by myself in this tiny box room using Microsoft for Dummies and watching Friends and Jerry Springer with subtitles to desperately learn how to communicate and get a job. I had to prove myself to my parents. I knew deep down they were very disappointed that I left Spain, that I didn't finish my degree. And almost more importantly, I had to prove myself to my partner, to show him that I could do it, that I was worth it, that I was good enough. Eventually, I managed to get some good jobs in the city of London, But at the end, the same question arose. Who was I? I didn't finish my studies. My English accent was absolutely terrible. And perhaps as a way of encouragement, life will remind me of someone better than me, highly educated, professional, with highly paid jobs. So I spent over 10 years trying to prove to the world that I was good enough, that I was worthy. For about 10 years, I continued working, studying, volunteering, anything I could do to keep developing and growing. My daughter Grace, my beautiful daughter Grace, was born. My boyfriend became my husband, and pretty much that was my life in London for the next few years. A few years later, now in my 30s, we relocated through a job opportunity to the beautiful country of New Zealand. It was both super exciting and very, very hard. And then I was again looking for a job, taking care of my daughter, who was 4 years old at the time, looking for a house, worried about my dad, who was being treated for cancer at the time, and being part of a marriage that was not bound to sustain the pressure and stress of relocating to a new country. My dad sadly lost his battle to cancer with only months of us arriving to New Zealand. And that triggered a worry inside me, not willing to live her life in sadness anymore. Wanted to be happy, feel worthy, and smile every single day. My dad passing away and the separation from my husband hit me at the same time. I know divorce is one of the hardest things that anyone can go through, especially being on the other side of the world with a much supporting network of family and friends, and the fear of how to move forward with your life. I became a life juggler. My ex-husband left a couple of years later to go overseas, and I decided to stay in New Zealand to take care of my daughter, doing contract jobs in project management and trying to provide some stability in our lives. I struggle with no time for myself for absolutely years. Waking up at 4:30 in the morning became my routine to have me time before starting my day. And then I started doing what I actually always wanted to do. I certified as a life coach about 5-6 years ago, and as a health and mastery transformational coach only a couple of years ago, which was one of the most exciting and rewarding things I've ever done for myself. Now I help women to reclaim the power and the sparkle back into their lives. This is my time now to be of service to other women who want to love themselves again, to feel worthy, to stop proving to the world that they are enough, and to create a new life they love after divorce or separation. One of the most important things that I learned is that the most lasting relationship is the one I have with myself. If I don't have a good relationship with myself, how can I have a good relationship with someone else, including my daughter and my family? If I don't love myself, I will always be looking for someone to complete me, to make me happy, to fulfill my dream. My 3 top tips I would like to share with you today are: Number one is to allow yourself to grieve. Divorce represents a loss, even if by the time of your split, the divorce was something you actually wanted. The truth is, nobody gets married thinking, I'm sure we can get divorced one day. So give yourself time to reflect on your relationship, on your experiences, on your learnings, on the love that you share. And give yourself time to heal, to send love to yourself and everyone affected by this breakup. So give yourself time. How long? As long as you need. My tip number 2 is work through your feelings. Find someone you can talk to, release any heavy emotional luggage from your previous relationship, whether it's a friend, a family member, a therapist, a coach. Try to find someone you trust to talk about how you feel and how things are going through. Talking to someone you trust might help you understand where your emotions and your limiting beliefs are. Where are they coming from? And they might be able to help you to reduce those feelings of anger and resentfulness. And finally, my tip number 3 is rediscover who you used to be. Rediscover who you used to be. Have a little bit of fun. Do you remember who you used to be before you married? The hobbies and activities you used to have, and maybe you gave up because they didn't fit in your relationship. Maybe you always wanted to go to the theater. You loved going to the theater, for example, and maybe your partner, your husband hated it. Or maybe, like me, you wanted to have new exciting experiences like scuba diving. So those were my top tips and my story, which I hope brings the love and inspiration to remind you that whatever your circumstances, you are not alone. And whatever happens in your life, you have nothing to prove because you already are. I am thankful for the struggle that came with my divorce, because without it, I wouldn't have stumbled across my strength. And I wouldn't have been able to meet incredibly beautiful women that, just like myself, needed to be reminded that yes, we are enough. Yes, we are beautiful. And yes, we are loved. My name is Manuela Garcia, and it's been an absolutely honor to share my story with you. Thank you for listening.
Wow. Fantastic.
Oh, well, Manuela, that was beautiful. You know,
Thank you.
again, we've got the same question. Why did you feel not worthy? It seems to be running through our panel, and it is a female problem, I think.
Absolutely.
Of not feeling
Absolutely.
worthy. You don't find
Yes.
men not feeling worthy, that's for sure. So how did you turn that around?
How did I turn that around? That's a very good question. I think
Because it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. And let me share with you, this was the first time that I watched the video. So I had tears running through my face, and I feel very overwhelmed because I couldn't. I thought, wow, that girl is good. But before watching the video, I didn't think so. Let me tell you, and this is one of the things that has been holding me back. Right? We get held by our limiting but self-belief, limiting beliefs, our fears, the things that we could have done, we should have done, all these things that maybe men don't have to deal with, they just do it. And yesterday I found myself in a situation where I said to my daughter, oh, I've got this thing going on tomorrow, and I have already provided the video, but I'm going to do it again. My daughter said, Mom, why don't you lay down in bed and play it for me? And it was really hard because, yes, it's almost like, that self-criticism. And my daughter was born in the UK. Yes, so I played the video for her, but I turned the phone upside down, so I didn't see myself. It was just the voice. Can you imagine? And at the end, my daughter, there was some giggles. She was giggling here and there, and I could feel it in my heart, thinking she's laughing at me, right? She's laughing, and your fears come up. It's really interesting how there are little triggers that the more we advance towards the direction we want, the more we are pulled back by our fears and self-limiting beliefs. And that's why it's so important to be supported, to be in communities like this one where we can support each other. At the end, my daughter, she giggled here and there and said, Mom, you've said a few things that maybe they were not quite right, because you said absolutely pleasure. You should have said something else. But overall, you did a great job. Oh. And I had tears running down my face thinking, God, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's almost a way to get that validity from someone that you love and someone that, yes, that I want my daughter to be proud of me. So that's what it is difficult, but I appreciate being in communities and being inspired by beautiful ladies like in this group, by HerStory. It's just inspiring and motivating. And that's what gives us the power to keep on going and sharing our story, right?
Right. Yeah. Thank you. How perfect was that? Yeah.
Perfect. I couldn't stop crying watching that video. Seriously, I thought, who is that girl? Yeah. And I cannot believe I had not seen it. I was about to record it again because I thought, how ridiculous is this? I help women to empower themselves, to believe in themselves. And that was me not walking the walk, thinking that, yeah. All these are, creating webinars and working on different steps of blah, blah, blah. But deep down, we all have those beliefs and those fears pulling us back. So I thought it was very interesting.
I want to give you some feedback. I felt like you were painting a picture with words. The way you started your presentation, I could see you back home. It was so visual. Thank you for taking us into that world. This is the power of storytelling, right? When you can paint a picture that somebody can see with their ears. That's what we're doing with these stories. When I listen to Renee's story and she's talking about being shot, and I'm like, how is this possible? She took us into her life. And yeah, we're going to hear those voices. Those voices will always be there. Some of you know that I've been working for the last couple of weeks on a 3-minute speech that won us $10,000 yesterday.
Oh, fantastic.
And those 3 minutes were 3 of the most painful minutes of my life. My kids were like, Mom, you've got this. You've done this 1,000 times. And it just wasn't working. I even got to the extent where I didn't have any hair dye. So my hair is gray. This is an extension. And I thought, I've got to get rid of these grays. I'm competing with young kids who develop apps. I'm going to be this 54-year-old woman amongst all of these kids. So I bought some henna. If any of you know henna, the guy. I put it in, I dyed my eyebrows, everything. I thought I'd look good, I'll look fine. I go into the shower, wash it off, and it's like for me, I had to put on my armor. I had to disguise my age because I'm competing with these kids and I'm struggling with a 3-minute speech. And my younger son came online like at midnight. I was practicing. I'm like, D, you've got to come online. You've got to listen to me do this thing again. He's like, oh, Mom, I'm so tired. And he just laughed and he just said to me, Mom, you've got this. You've done this so many times and you look so tense. You look so tight. Just have fun, Mom. And as I was doing my pitch, it was my youngest son's voice that was in my head. And I put on a fake smile. And what it did, though, it actually worked in lightening my mood. I started laughing at myself. I had this, I didn't feel that inside.
Wow.
But it worked.
Yeah. You were successful.
Oh, gosh. But we are our worst enemies.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That voice in our
that's a
heads.
female trait as well, as feeling not worthy. These are all things that were put into our heads as little girls that we need to not put into our daughters' heads, and that we need to move past those archaic notions and know our full worth.
Yeah.
And and I think that that's what your community that you're developing, Gertrude, is doing for all of us.
And can I ask you to change those words? The community we are developing. You are the leadership team. You are HerStory.
Thank you. But you're the visionary. There's no question that you're the visionary. And
but we are co-creating this dream together.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about it. We can support each other as women, and that is something that's not done often. And here is an example of you supporting me so well, and I will support you right back. I think that's nice. This community that we're developing, that we're able to support each other in such a manner that is priceless.
Yeah, that is the superpower that women possess, our ability to co-create, collaborate, and work together.
Yes, and forgive. We believe in forgiveness. I think that is because we're all women here with some more horrific than others, but pretty horrific stories, and we've all forgiven. So Renee?
I ain't forgave. I'm working on it, but I ain't forgave. I'll tell people this. You said that, so I gotta be honest.
You're laughing about your situation.
So here we go.
I think
let's be real. I forgave him for the abuse part. Why? Because most people in DV situations may not necessarily agree with me. But however, no matter what my reason for staying was, whether it was fear, whether it was love, whether it was loneliness, whatever it was, I still gave him power and control. So I allowed some of that stuff to happen. So I forgave him for that part. Now, mind you, I still have a hard time with you trying to figure out that you wanted me assassinated. So I just really think, the Lord is working on me for real though, but that's my transparent moment. I'm just going to be real. I go back and forth with that one. That whole, you sat down and plotted to have somebody come to, so I didn't tell it like it was, Vicky. But listen,
tell it like it is.
I came home.
I don't believe you. I think you have found forgiveness. So
I came home from church. I got out of my vehicle. I was walking across my grass. This person came from behind a tree. I thought I was going to be robbed. However, he called me out of his name, pointed a pistol at me, shot me 4 times, and then walked away. He didn't take my truck. I didn't have a purse then. He didn't take my phone. He didn't take nothing. You purposely sent someone to take my life.
Yeah.
I got a difficult time thinking, okay, I need to forget. Now I understand forgiveness is for me, it's not for him, and the Lord gonna have to work with me on that one. However, that's my transparent moment of me being real in my truth. Yeah, I got a hard time with that one.
Yeah, I understand.
A work in progress.
Because that was truly
That's a big thing.
that was, it's personal.
Oh, it's personal.
Yeah, and it's so
And if I
calculated.
thought I looked good in prison orange, I might have did something by now. But however,
Right.
I don't
But you're
look
too
good.
smart for that. And the
I don't
thing
look
is,
good in prison orange,
will-
and the only letters I want on my back are my initials, not Department of Corrections. I'm just saying.
well, and they will be, because you're going to take your good sense of humor and your lightheartedness and and those are going to be the tools that you'll pull out of your box to sustain you through life. And I think that that's great, Renee.
Anyway, can I say something
Oh,
about
please, Selena.
Manuela?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Manuela. I apologize. But she said forgiveness, and that touched the nerve.
What I wanted to say to Renee very, very quickly, I'm sorry, is that the fact, Renee, that you can talk about it and share your story, something that you've gone through or something that happened a couple of years ago, I'd really have to commend you for that, because it represents so much growth and wisdom. And yes, maybe things that you're still working through it or exploring or reflecting, but it happens to all of us. We're still reflecting on our lives, and there's always something, a wisdom that we can get out of it, right? But yes, I have to commend you for it.
And I
It's
appreciate
beautiful.
you, and I apologize for taking over your segment with that forgiveness part. Struck the nerve. So I'm sorry, Selena. Please go ahead and say what you have to say to me. I apologize. I digress. I myself on mute.
And I just say that because I want to go to bed. I want to go to sleep. So I thought I could do something.
Sorry, Selena. Please. Yeah, you're saying she's exhausted. What were you going to say to close?
No, I mean, I just want to say to Manuela, well done for what you did, for owning up your life.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's difficult when you give up your life for love. I mean, I think I was 21 as well when I gave my life up for love. And that was the biggest mistake I did in my life, because the rest wasn't really what I was expecting. I had a kid at 22. 7 years later, I was divorced. No
Wow.
certificate, no profession, because he didn't want me to go to work. And so it's like I started from scratch. Where do I go? Nobody. But at least you went to New Zealand with you. I went to a neighboring country, tried to make a living because I was a seamstress. I had trained to become a designer, but he didn't want me to do that either. So I had to make my life. Okay, I trained as a teacher, but the money I was getting was not enough. That was after the divorce. I had to think, okay, what else should I do? And then coming to the UK with 95 pounds in my pocket, starting from scratch.
Wow.
Getting cancer 2014, Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 4, and getting fired. But it's like what you are young, and it's like you have a focus. And I mean, you can tell. I became a health coach as well. That's what drew me to you as well. I'm a health coach, but just qualified this past month. And I love it because it just opened up a lot of things for me. Some things which I didn't know, that food is my medicine. Even now, it's like this COVID time, I never had a challenge, nothing. People around me, worried, but I'm still strong because I take my food. It's just not physical food, but the spiritual food as well, which is amazing. That's the good, positive thoughts, positive things. So, guys, I love your stories and I love you, but I'm an old lady. I need to go to sleep.
Sabrina, you're beautiful. Thank you so much for the feedback, and I hope you enjoy your evening. Have a good
It
day.
was such a
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you, Selena.
Nice
Thank
to
you
meet you
for,
too. Nice
for
to meet
joining
you.
When
me.
are you speaking, by the way?
The 24th, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to do it live. I don't want the video because my story change every day. So you can keep it, but I'll be here anyway.
We'll see you tomorrow then.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Bye,
Bye,
Selena.
Selena.
Good night. Lots of love. Bye bye.
Sleep well.
Same to you. Manuela, keep in touch. Can we connect, please?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I will. Thank you,
Okay.
Selena.
Lovely. And all you ladies, I want to connect with you. It's not just Manuela.
Oh, that's great.
Now I don't believe you, Selena. I feel some kind of way. I've been on here
Thanks,
for 2 days.
Selena.
You were playing favorites there.
No.
She's like, oh shit, I should say something to everyone else.
For political correctness.
Oh my God, you guys are getting
Otherwise I become
tired.
Trump.
Beautiful.
So I unmuted my phone. So Manuela, your story is amazing, and I do apologize for interrupting your segment. That was rude. So
Nothing to apologize, Renee. You're beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. However, understand that divorce piece. I tell people all the time, you know, even though I have been abused, and just like you said, you don't. I say the same thing about being abused. You don't walk into a marriage saying, hey, you know, in about 3 years, this ain't gonna work out for us, so let's get a divorce before I say I do. You never, you go into a marriage praying that your marriage is going to last, like your vows say, till death do you part. I say the same thing about abuse. I tell people all the time, I didn't see him beating on nobody down the street, and I just stopped him from beating that person and said, hey, I want to be in a relationship with you. I was blindsided. And then I did the stupid, and I married him. But when you go through divorce like that, yeah, like real stupid, like woo squirrel. So when you do stuff like that, when you think about divorce, and I empathize with you because you actually suffer 2 deaths at the same time. Because divorce is a form of death to me. You know, regardless of what the reason for the divorce was. I mean, again, my husband was beating me. I mean, he wasn't beating me every day, but he was beating me enough. Not only that, but it was mentally and emotionally abusive as well. However, I still at that time, because I believe because of the covenant that I had with him, because of what I said before God, and I took my vows seriously, I had a love for him that only biblically people will understand. So when the gavel went down, even though my outer appearance was like, woohoo, yeah, woo, make sure I get my last name back because I don't want your name no more. When I went home and the day began to come to an end, like everything began to come back to me like, man, I was with you on paper for like 10 years. We were together for 9. And before that, we dated like 5 or 6 years before we actually got married. That's a long time to just end something. So I empathize with you, and I totally understood when you said that, you know, you had a really rough time during that part of the divorce, and then also losing your father during that time, and you were in a whole nother country where you couldn't just pick up and just, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? So
But the difficulty, Renee, as well is, you know, you talk about abuse, and I relate to that as well. So when I talk about it, I don't talk too openly because my daughter is 16, and that's something that I've never tried to poison her against her dad. But that's something that in her relationship with her dad, she experiences, you know, something that she will find out in one way or another.
And that's why you're amazing, because most women.
Look, he broke my. I don't know in your case, in your experience, but he broke my soul. He literally broke my soul, and you reach that point. New Zealand is a very spiritual place. I don't know for the ones that you know, but somehow that the energy is not the same as you know the energy from where I come from in Spain, in Europe. It's like, you know, different energies, and somehow spiritually I felt, because I remember saying, God, Dad, whoever listens, someone help me, because I would jump off the bridge. I have nothing else to give other than taking care of my daughter. And somehow you find the strength to keep on going. That's the sort of that's the extreme breakup. But something that I talk to women as well is, which is maybe as sad as well, is the breakup that women can experience even when they're in a beautiful relationship. And you experience that when you let yourself go, when everything and everyone has priority over your own needs, your own space, your own self-worth, your own everything. And that's the breakup that we don't talk about, because you can see a friend, you can see a neighbor, and all the boxes are ticked. She's got the house and the car and the dog, and she's married, and so therefore everything is perfect, right? I don't fit into that profile. As you can imagine, I don't. It's just my daughter and myself living on the other side of the world. My family are in Spain and they don't understand me. But it's okay. I believe we all have different paths. But that's the sort of breakup that interests me, because you can see a woman that fits that social requirement for the sake of fitting. And that's why I always say, do you remember who you used to be? Do you remember what made your soul smile, your soul tick? Do you used to dance? Do you used to laugh? Who do you used to be before? And sometimes we get lost into, we grow into a relationship. Of course we do. But to the point of forgetting who we are, that's a little bit.
Well,
yeah.
I give you
A lot
flowers.
of the things that, sorry, Renee.
No, I was just saying, I'm giving you your flowers today. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, virtual flowers.
My nails are too long.
Oh. The one thing that Manuela said about the passing of her father, it's interesting how the death of somebody close wakes you up to life.
Absolutely.
I think it was in that moment where you realize, I am not happy and I do not want to check out like this. I don't want my daughter to experience this, because sometimes we stay for our children thinking we're doing it for the kids, keeping the family together. And yet your children are better off with two happy parents who are separate than two miserable parents who are alone. So I think what you did was break a generational thing that could have passed on to your daughter.
What a cycle to break.
Yeah.
I've made very difficult decisions throughout my life. And yes, maybe, the easiest thing would have been to stay with my then husband financially and otherwise. It would have been easy.
Yeah.
But what is the price that you pay? What is the price that my dad passed away within 5 years. He was very young. He would have been 60 when he died. And sometimes I wonder if anyone knew, if we knew that we have 3, 4, 5 years, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
We talk about detoxing, but we don't think about detoxing our lives, from the people that maybe don't bring any value. Yes, or situations that we get involved with that don't bring any value, any richness. And we will start doing things for others, being of service, enjoying life. Life is really beautiful. It's full of excitement and love. But sometimes we just don't see it,
Yeah, no, it's sad. But I'm happy for you. I'm glad we're both here in New Zealand in this beautiful spiritual space. And hopefully,
are you back, Hatred? Are you in New Zealand now?
I'm in Melbourne, no.
Oh, you're in Melbourne. I was feeling excited, thinking, "Oh my goodness, I'm going to see you. I'm going to meet you soon."
They haven't let me back in, so it will be a while.
Okay.
So, ladies, we're waiting for one speaker who did confirm via email that she would be here at 6:45 Eastern Time. I just checked online. It's 6:27 Eastern. So we'll give her a few minutes. And while we do that, we'll watch Miss Renee's video.
Okay.
It should have uploaded by
strap
now.
in for this one.
Like now, I'm not even sure if I want y'all to watch. Like, I just want you to just put a free screen of just see the greenery.
and then we have a few more question and answers.
What is going on?
You said 3 to 4.
Open.
It's 3.5 already.
I said 4 to 5.
Tell me how you really feel. You look good. You sound good.
Okay. So,
did you share your screen?
What? Something is going wrong again. This is so weird.
Did you share your screen?
Renee, what is the? May I ask, what is that picture behind you? I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. It looks like, I don't know if it's an animal or a face with a red nose. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I'll pull it up closer. It's a woman.
Oh, it's a woman. Oh, wow. It looks like a chicken from the distance or something weird. That is a beautiful picture. Wow.
Oh, I meant to comment on that
beautiful.
picture too. That is beautiful, Manuela. I agree. I've been staring at that picture this whole day. I love that.
Oh, it's beautiful. I can see the woman now from the distance. That's beautiful.
It's like she's got a mask. It's like she's taking off her mask.
She's taking off her mask.
That's right.
And don't we all have those?
Let me test this and see if this is going to work.
Okay.
Then I have this one.
No, it's not working.
No, it wasn't.
And then,
oh my God, you have another one.
Oh, that's the men's version. That's beautiful.
You want to come look, Mom? Look at these pictures. Here, wait, bring the picture back so my mom can see.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, bring them both back. See, look at this one back here.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that gorgeous? And
That's phenomenal.
And then she has the mate. But
oh my,
that's beautiful.
And it tells quite a story.
And then there's the other version. That's fabulous.
So these are the masks that we put on.
Magnificent.
The masks we wear in life.
Right.
Oh, that's
sometimes
phenomenal.
when I speak, I do a keynote on I thought it was gonna fall. About not wearing masks or unveiling the mask, because we all wear masks at some point in our lives and relationships, when we're not taking care of ourselves or when we're trying to please the other person, and we let ourselves go. So I have like 5 or 6 different types of masks that we put on in relationships.
Wow.
So yeah, but that's what my talk has been inspired from. I love this. I bought this about, let's see, I've been divorced. It'll be 11 years. So I probably had this about maybe 13, 14 years, maybe a little longer.
Okay, so it looks like your video does not want to be shared, Renee.
Oh, darn. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. How did I send it to you?
Tell us.
No, I have it, but StreamYard is not recognizing the MOV format.
Oh.
So I have to get it converted to an MP4. But there is another way. Might take a few minutes, but we have the time because we're waiting for Heidi. Has she emailed you back, Ruth?
no, not yet. How did I give it that time?
I'm not
So
sure. I
that's-
suspect with the time conversion thing, she has picked up the wrong time.
Yeah, because by that time we would have been done. We're
Yeah.
supposed to finish it at 12 New Zealand time.
And I just want to honor her because she got the time wrong yesterday. So we'll just give her a few minutes. We'll wait until
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about all
I
of the
was going to-
stories that we've heard today and comment, because I see a ribbon of similarity with all of us. And I noted that the common thread today was faith and hope, because that's what I heard in everybody's speech. And that was our common thread for today, faith and hope. And of course, my mother's saying inner strength in the background.
Yeah, to have mom around.
Yeah, she's a good mom because I'm here getting treatment. she's watching over me. So I'm very fortunate.
So beautiful.
But what does everybody think about? Is anyone going to comment about the common thread of faith and hope? What do you think about that?
It's been interesting, Vicky, because since we started, every day we seem to pick up a theme that runs from the speakers without anything being communicated.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. You can feel it with every story we heard today.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strong. And also the whole thing around divorce.
Right.
A lot of us were married at a very early age. You know, Selena talked about being meeting her husband, getting married, having a child at 22. That's my story. Met my husband when I was 17, got pregnant at 21, married, had a baby at 22. So, I mean, who makes a decision when you're 21 years old about life? When I look at it now, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah. You were in love.
Yeah.
Oh, but you do what you do and you cope with what life, gives you at that moment in time. And then when you're ready to reinvent yourself, you do, and life goes on.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting couple of days.
I bet.
And I think the inner strength that mom is talking about is coming out of the abusive situations and, being able to carry on and recreate your life like Tainel, she actually recreated her life and was able to move on and to look after the children. So I think as women, one of the things, like Renee said, is resilience. When life throws these curveballs at us, we just have to dig deeper in ourselves and find ways to cope and to move on and to deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like all of this unites us together. You know, we're not in the closet anymore. We're out, we're proud, we're talking about our strengths, our weaknesses, and we share them as women, and it unites us.
Yeah.
And makes us stronger.
You can say that again, Vicky. And then you find that we're coming from different parts of the world, different life experiences. You know, when Ingrid was talking about her, domestic violence story, and Selena said, for most African women, we think European women have it good. Like that kind of stuff doesn't happen to them.
Right.
So we have more similarities than differences. And it's when we start sharing these stories that you see those common threads.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for us to share.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why this platform is so important. The HerStory platform is giving us opportunity to meet each other from coast to coast, one side of the world to the other.
Yeah, I mean, how many countries did we have today? We had South Africa, we had Nigeria, we had UK, Zimbabwe, New Zealand,
and United States.
US. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And we all have things in common.
Yeah.
No matter where we were raised, from one side of the world to the other, we all have our faith and our hope and our willingness to share with each other to better each other and ourselves. And we'll grow from being a part of this.
Yeah, we will. One of the things somebody did an analysis of the COVID situation and what has come out of what has changed in terms of the world. And one of the things that they talked about is women. As women have found each other and we've come together and we've leaned on each other and moving forward and learning from each other more than the men have.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, we're pretty cool women.
Yeah, we are. We
And
are
I
so
remember
Pat each other on the back.
when I was being asked by the judges about this app that I'm developing. Oh, Heidi's here. Awesome.
Oh, yay, Heidi.
How are you? Hello, ladies.
Oh, wonderful to have you, Heidi.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, hello.
So
Hello.
Heidi, just introduce yourself. We were just hanging out, waiting for you to come. Tell everybody where you're based, and then we'll play your video and we'll ask you questions after.
Well, good evening, ladies. My name is Heidi Billings. I'm originally from New York, but I am based now in Rex, Georgia, which is south of Atlanta. And I am good to be here. It's good to be here.
Fantastic. So we'll go straight into your video. Here we go.
How do we move past our fears? My name's Heidi Billings, and that's a question that I hope to answer over these next 15 minutes. So there I was, 3 days after my 50th birthday, my fabulous 50. But I wasn't feeling too fabulous. I was thinking, OMG. I have been on this earth for 50 years. What have I been doing? Now, don't get me wrong. It wasn't as if I hadn't accomplished some things, because I had gone to school and earned my bachelor's, gone into corporate America, into the mortgage industry, worked there for several years, and then left to become a full-time graduate student. Graduated from grad school, earning my MBA, and went back to corporate America. So by my 50th birthday, I had been a mortgage professional for well over 20 years. I had worked with hundreds of home buyers, helping them realize the American dream of home ownership, owning their own home. All while my dream was laying dormant. The dream that God had placed in my heart to use my gifts, my talents, and my abilities to empower women was laying dormant. Why? Because of fear. I had allowed fear to paralyze me and stop me from taking action towards my dream. But at this time in my life, I knew I was at a crossroad and something had to change. It was as if every fiber in my body was screaming, Heidi, you've got to take action now. And so what did I do? I Googled the word woman empowerment. And out of all of the hits that came up, there was one that stuck out to me. It was from the United Nations. They were getting ready to embark on their 16-day campaign to bring awareness to gender violence. And they were looking for women all over the world to use their Twitter account to bring awareness to this cause. And I was like, OMG, I can do this. I have a Twitter account. I can do this. I was ecstatic. I was so excited. I sent my name and my information, and I waited for a response. It was about 2 or 3 days later, I received an email. I mean, I was floating on cloud 9. I mean, I was so light. I was feeling good. I was excited because I was going to finally take a step and move towards my dream of getting in the woman empowerment space. Even though this seems like a small step, at least I was acting, I was taking action. And so I was excited. Got the application, got the email. There was an application attached. I opened it up. Okay, name Heidi Billings. Email denisebill22@gmail.com. And then things started to go left with that third question. What nonprofit are you affiliated with? Question mark. I was not affiliated with any nonprofit. So all of a sudden, all of that glee and excitement started to dissipate. I started to get that feeling in your stomach like somebody just punched you. You know, that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach, like you're going to be sick. I started to get that feeling as I read the next question. And it asked about your position in the organization, the nonprofit. And of course, my answer was NA for non-applicable. Now, there were several other questions that pertain to a nonprofit, but there were also several questions that did not. And I did complete the application. But by the time I completed it, the fear that I thought left me 2 or 3 days ago had come back. And I wasn't feeling as excited. I was actually feeling afraid again. Although I completed the application, I didn't send it in. I looked at the deadline. I had 2 days to send it in. So I held on to it. I held on to it because I was afraid. I was afraid they were not going to select me because I was not a part of a nonprofit. I started thinking to myself, this is not such a good idea. I don't think I can do this. So I held on. Then 2 days were up. It was Friday, and the application had to be back by 5 o'clock. I went to work that day. I was nervous. I was anxious. I could hardly focus because I was thinking about this application. I had put the application on my desktop in the office, just minimized it so I could look at it. Every now and again, I would pull it up and I would look at it. And I would look at the send button on the keypad. But I just could not send it. Fear would not let me hit that send button. So I would minimize it again. I told myself, okay, Heidi, you're going to send this application after the break. I'd worked as best I could. A couple of hours, I went on break. I came back. I pulled up the application. I looked at the send button, but I just could not do it. I said, okay, Heidi, you're going to send this application after you come back from lunch. Worked as best I could, trying to stay focused and get my work done. A few hours passed by. It was lunchtime. I went to lunch. I came back. said, okay, now I'm going to send this application. I pulled it up. I looked at it. I looked at the send button on the keyboard, but I just could not hit it. I just couldn't do it. Fear had gripped me so tight, I could not hit the send button on the keyboard. I minimized the file again. I tried to do some work as I kept looking at the clock and I kept looking at the application. I must have pulled that application up at least 100 times. And time was slipping away. Finally, it was Friday and it was 4:45. I had 15 minutes before the deadline. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it was going to jump out of my chest. I pulled the application up. I looked at it. I looked at the send button. The negative chatter started. Heidi, they're not going to accept your application. This is not a good idea. You can't do this. You're not in a nonprofit. I took a deep breath and I began to talk to myself. I said, Heidi, you can do this. You have to do this. If they don't accept the application, big deal. It's okay. Send it. I took a deep breath and I quickly hit send. I did it. I sent it. And I'll tell you, what seemed like such a small, insignificant step was the very step that I needed to take to help me begin my journey to live on purpose. Now, was I afraid when I hit that send button? Absolutely. So how did I move past my fears? The way I see it, I moved past my fears the same way I moved towards my fears, with my words. It was that little positive pep talk letting me know that it was going to be okay either way, that gave me the boost and the push I needed to move past my fears and take action. So I leave you here today with probably just a reminder. If you need to move past your fears, remember your words are powerful. Just like we can use them to move towards our fears, we can use our words to move past our fears. I am Heidi Billings. Thank you.
Oh, nice. I know these scripts are amazing, aren't they? Yeah, because I have to ask your opinion on something.
Wow.
Wow, that was really amazing, Heidi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing, Heidi.
Thank you, ladies.
So
Thank
what
you.
happened with the application?
I hit send and they accepted it.
Oh!
Yes, they did. And it started a whole new journey, whole new world for me in that one step.
Tell me about the new world.
Yes, that one step was such a I was such at a crossroad at my life at that point. Again, being in the mortgage industry for 20 years, knowing I had this dream that had been laying dormant for so long, this God-given purpose that I had not been tapping into, and I needed to do something. And that one step led me to get the courage enough to start my own course. It was, I just I put the word out there. I ended up creating a course called Creative for Purpose Woman Empowerment. And I just went on, I think it was Meetup, sent an invitation to women, and they came, and I taught this course for I think it was about 9 months. Every other Saturday we met. All from that step, that one little step gave me courage. Now, before that, I started going to different conferences and symposiums and different things to get in an environment of like-minded people. And then from there, like I said, I taught that class. And I'm still on this journey, but it has just been amazing how one step in your life, one decision, they'll always say you're one decision away from, your destiny. And I believe that was such a critical point and a critical step in my life to take me on to, like I said, to go ahead and start that class. And from there on, start a coaching business, an online business called Woman Excel, just to help women go through who are sitting on those jobs like we do. And we know we have so much more potential, so much more that God has placed on the inside of us that we have yet to tap into. But it's that dream that will not go away. I don't care how much you ignore it. I don't care how many years you think you can ignore it and you're not going to tap into it, but it will not go away. And that was my situation. That dream would not go away. It would not continue to lay dormant. And I had to act.
Well, we're glad you did.
So am I.
Yeah.
So am I.
Because now you're helping all these women. So, we're benefiting from your strength. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does somebody else want to make a comment on Heidi and all she has to offer?
Heidi. Hi, Heidi.
Hello.
Hi. I want to commend you for the beautiful speech and for opening your heart and sharing your journey and your fears. I was a little bit confused when you said big 50 because I thought I'm sure she meant big 40.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing. It's been really beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, you spoke about one of the things that we suffer as women, especially second guessing ourselves.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because you were very enthusiastic and you knew that this is exactly what you wanted to do, and then you started to self-doubt, doubt, I don't have this qualification. Do you know that a man will look at a job spec and a vacancy and they'll ignore everything and just apply for the job? And as women, we start to question ourselves, will I be able to put it together? But I'm glad you stepped out and you sent in the application, and congratulations on a new journey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I add my 2 cents?
Gertrude, you're next.
My 2 cents worth here.
Yeah.
First of all, Heidi, thank you for honoring us with your presence today. And my apologies. When you live in the future, sometimes you forget to tell people that you are a day ahead. So what happened yesterday was all my fault.
That was.
I kind of converted the time, the day. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
The other thing I wanted to say is your story reminds me of a little parable I read once of this guy who wanted to go to the other side of the world, and there was a gate that he had to cross. And when he would get to the gate, his family, his friends would come and say, no, don't go. We don't know what's on the other side. And he would hold back and hold back. And it's an illustration that everything you do want is on the other side of fear.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes those who are trying to hold us back are trying to protect us. Sometimes it's your ego. It's you, that little voice that doesn't want you to get hurt, that doesn't want you to fall down and make a mistake, embarrass yourself, whatever it is. But I've learned to fight with my little voice. And I tell her, look, I acknowledge you. Thank you for protecting me. But what I want is on the other side of this damn gate. So I'm gonna go through. And 9 times out of 10, you get to the other side and you think, why was I afraid?
What was all the fuss?
What was all the fuss about? So
Yeah.
thank you for reminding us all that it is on the other side. And when you get out of your comfort zone, that's really where all the magic lies.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have power in our words. Our words are powerful. And that's how we break up those thoughts by speaking. You don't, to me, you don't combat a thought with a thought, but when you open your mouth and you take control of that thought by opening your mouth and saying, you know what? Yeah, I hear this negative chat in my head, but I'm going to do it. So our words are powerful.
Absolutely.
Yes, they are.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Any other contributions?
I think it's just so incredibly beautiful, because I was listening to Heidi and I'm thinking, isn't that wonderful that we have women from around the world and each one's stories resonate with each of us. And I was thinking, Gertrude, you have started a revolution. This is a revolution.
Yes!
Because if we think about, yeah, absolutely. If you think about your story, Gertrude, and your beautiful story, your beautiful voice, how powerful it is. But when we think about hundreds voices or 1,000 or 1,000,000 of, it's a revolution. It's unstoppable. So it's just incredible, and I feel really honored to be in this group with all these beautiful ladies. It's just beautiful, magical.
Awesome. No, thank you. We are going to create a chorus. I watched a TED Talk, and I want you guys to watch this TED Talk. There is a guy who created an online choir.
Online, sorry?
A choir. Actually, let me find it. People from all over the world were singing in an orchestra, but online.
You want us to do the same, Gertrude?
My singing voice isn't so great.
Once I get 1,000 voices, we are going to do this together, and we will give a speech together, and every woman will have a line in the speech that I'm writing to launch the app.
Oh, great.
Tomorrow morning, I will share that video so you can see the crazy stuff that goes on in my head.
I thought she wanted us to sing too. I was gonna say, try again, sister. You don't want to hear this voice. It's shower material only.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Me too.
I'm just saying, my voice is only for the shower.
Yeah, even the shower turns cold when I sing.
Oh, this is just awesome. Yeah. So, Vicky, up to you to close the day. And I managed to get the video for Renee. We'll play it tomorrow. It's
Okay, anyway, Heidi, real quick. Heidi, thank you. Ouch. I'm gonna say ouch. You stepped on my toes. I have a nonprofit, and every time I try to say I want to hire somebody to help me write a grant, it always falls through, which I believe is God telling me I need to learn how to do it myself. So every time I try to fill out an application for something, I always sit there and I don't push the button and the deadline go and I feel some kind of way, and it's my fault. So I'm just gonna say ouch, and you've compelled me to do the stuff that I'm supposed to do. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I just want to say, as a facilitator, it's been an honor to meet each and every one of you today. And I thank you because it's very brave to come out and speak about your real inner demons. And, you've all done that today. And because you've done that, other women are going to benefit from your learned lessons. So I thank you for joining us today and teaching us. And I am honored to have met all of you. So thank you for coming. Thank you for staying and watching everybody and supporting HerStory, which, as you can see, just by all of us just today, how important it is to support her story, because this is an opportunity other women aren't getting, to communicate with people all over the world and support each other, lift each other up, help each other. We're all very fortunate today. So thank you.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too, Mom, in the background.
Yeah, Mom in the
Yeah. Vicky, I've got a proposal, Vicky.
Yes, I've got a great mom.
You do.
Yeah, may we have her as a speaker? Would she like to speak to us?
Oh, gee, they want to know if you want to come on and speak now, Mom, since you have so much to say.
Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, she can totally speak. She'll
Okay.
talk your ear off.
She'll be our first speaker for tomorrow. What's Mom's name?
Diane Griffiths.
Okay, so send us her photo so we can create her banners.
Okay. Oh, she's.
Yes.
I have a photo.
Are you serious?
This is Mom.
Hi,
Dadan.
I have to tell you, I was trying so hard not to speak and trying to listen without commenting. Very difficult. Your stories are so compelling. You are all so amazing.
Thank you.
And I am so proud that my daughter is part of your story. Thank you.
Oh, Mama.
Thank you, Diane. You're beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. She is beautiful. She's read my book like 10 times, easily 10 times. She is my biggest fan. She goes around and buys a bunch of books, and then she gives them away to people to tell them to read.
Oh.
She's been my driver to chemo for the last 11 years. She is the greatest mom ever. So, yeah, I've had a great support system.
And you're also speaking tomorrow, isn't it?
What was that?
You are also speaking tomorrow.
I am.
Yes. Tomorrow is 20.
Oh, I didn't know.
What day is it today?
Gertrude.
22nd.
I didn't know that. That just threw that out. Well, we're going to be driving home tomorrow. So what time? Because I don't know.
What time are you available?
What time did we start today for you?
Today we started at 3, which was a good time. I don't know. I don't think we will be home before 4. I wouldn't take away. Yeah.
I mean, we could have you on at the end of the day this time.
Okay.
Or an hour earlier.
If I'm just coming on to speak and not stay for the whole thing. Mom's worried that I'm doing too much.
No, just 15 minutes.
So I can give of myself.
And she's speaking at my book club Monday. So I'm got to make sure that my book club gets to hear her.
You want to still have some steam in there.
I can speak for 15 minutes tomorrow, Gertrude.
Okay.
It won't take up the whole 5 hours, Mom. Okay. You can put me on at the end.
Yeah, we'll put you at the end. Ruth, if you could facilitate with that and send them a time, send them a calendar invite.
You too, Mom. You're speaking tomorrow now too.
No. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
We're starting with you, Mom. You're our mom now.
Yeah, you're our mom now, she said. Yeah.
What was that about calendar invite?
To share my mom.
Send Vicky a calendar invite of the exact time so we get the time conversion right.
Yes, please. Oh, thank you.
So what time are you available?
Put her at the end of the day.
Probably at the end of the day, like 4 o'clock on Eastern Standard. I don't think I'll be home before then.
Okay, great.
Does that work? Is that okay, Ruth?
Yes, it's fine.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay. I'll pop on as soon as I get out of the car and see all the beautiful people I'll get to meet tomorrow.
Fantastic. Okay. Becky, thank you for facilitating today. I know what you're going through. We hope we have helped you, energized you. Our love is with you from all 4 corners of the world.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, beautiful day. Another beautiful day.
Yeah.
So for those people who are online sitting on the fence thinking, who are these crazy women? Why should I get involved? Please go onto our website and register to speak. We are looking for the next 1,000. We're trying to hit 1 million women in 2022. And the idea is if we get 1,000 women who tell 10 friends, we grow to 10,000. If they tell 10 friends, 100,000. If they tell 10 friends, 1 million. That's our goal for 2022. So if you're listening to this video, tell your friends, bring your 10 online, and don't limit it to 10. If you know 100 women, tell 100 women as well. But thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic evening, day, morning, wherever you are in the world.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
God
you
bless.
so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.